All right, I think we're good to go. So, all right, Rob, where are you located at? Where are you at right now?
I'm in Orinda, California, which is just on the other side of Oakland. There's a big hill that kind of mountain range that kind of divides us from there.
Okay, so it's hot there.
No, it's like 50.
Oh, it's cold.
it's,
Okay,
it's,
all right, all right, all right.
it's pissing rain right now, actually.
All right, so yeah, I'm not familiar with where Oakland was. I don't know why I thought Oakland was hot.
Yeah, no. It's honestly take 80 directly west, and that's where we're at. So
Okay, I don't, man.
it is usually warmer though because the ocean's here and that creates more. What's that? Can you
No,
hear
no, no.
me?
It seems to be working all right. Just making sure that everything is all right. Uh, um, right. So you don't get super cold in the wintertime though, right?
Yeah. You know what's
Yeah.
funny? Like I've turned into such a pussy living out here.
Right.
Like it gets down to like 34, like sometimes in the morning for a couple weeks, and it's just like
Sure.
fuck.
Oh
And
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
highs like
No, right.
50.
It ain't cold. Uh, yeah, because I was gonna say I
Yeah,
know people in Washington State, and even far north as that is, compared to the middle of the country, it doesn't get that cold. Uh,
yeah,
just because of the ocean sort of setup.
totally.
So how it looks to me on the news like Gavin Newsom, the state of California, is actually doing a pretty good job of handling the situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've been very proactive, it seems like. Kind of started the whole shelter in place thing a little bit before New York, I think, like a day
Right,
before.
right.
So they kind of do it at the same time. But um, yeah, it's been weird. I've been off for, doing the whole working from home thing for like a month, and it's weird. Like I work from home anyway, but still.
Sure, sure, sure. Now, I mean, with the population of California, you just think numbers wise, you'd have way bigger numbers as far as like, is California the biggest state population wise?
No, I think New York is. And California's number two.
Oh, New York's got more than I did not realize.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
I think that's always been the case since we were kids. Like I remember that.
Right. I mean, I knew city-wise New York had the most population, but state-wise, I did not realize that there was more than there was like 50 million people in California.
Yeah, it's 40 million. I just heard that today.
40. Okay. All right.
But
Yeah.
I think New York's bigger than that, to be honest.
Wow. I mean, what a
Yeah,
small footprint. I mean, that's got to be why they've got so much trouble right now. They're stacked on top of you.
totally. Yeah.
So, Illinois has been doing well too. I mean, I know that drives some of my staunch Republican friends nuts because they spend all year bitching about Illinois, but they took it seriously right off the bat, and for the state that's got Chicago in it, where we have the third biggest city in the country, and then the like fourth or fifth biggest population, we're ranked
Yeah.
ninth right now in cases, so not too bad. I'm in Kankakee County, and I guess which kind of blows my mind, but they're ranked third as counties in the state.
Oh, really? Wow, I didn't know that.
Cases, yeah. So uh, I don't think it's anywhere near third in population as far as it goes, but
Yeah.
third in cases. So and for me, like I'm for a dude in a wheelchair, I'm super healthy, but anybody in a wheelchair has got like respiratory, compromise
Totally.
situation. So like I'm just gonna stay the hell away from it until once they have a treatment for it, I'm all for getting it. Like just give it to me and then I can
So
have it.
yeah, you're protected.
I'm sick of fucking this shit. Like I'm a guy that can't sit still to begin with, and now I gotta freaking sit around here. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't like eaten so well and lifted so many weights in my life. So it's been
We're
crazy.
gonna be in hella shape.
I'm telling you, man, I've been just in the gym like just every single day. My sons don't doesn't bother them. They're in the gym anyway, but
Yeah.
like I'm used to doing a lot of work and just not, besides the podcast stuff, just goofing around with that. Like there just hasn't been. But
Yeah.
anyway, so uh you said you're working from home. What do you do? What's your main hustle is not music, right?
No, it's not. I actually work for a nonprofit that I co-founded called Hire Hero, and I help veterans transition out of the military and they find careers. So
Nice.
it's really rewarding. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's my way of giving back. And like, the story of it was like when I graduated from college, I went to go work for this company called Diamond Blade Warehouse, and they sold like diamond tip saw blades.
Okay.
So I learned a lot about the construction industry, and I went in as a credit manager. Nothing to do with my major, of course.
Right.
And they were kind of coming in at a time where it was transitioning from paper to computer. So I was very integral about helping them do that whole process and like creating
Right.
reports and understanding the sales team. So I really got like in 3 years a really quick lesson in business. And I kind of took myself to a level where I couldn't go any further. And kind of went to my alumni association, and I found a job in San Diego, and I wanted to get out to California because of the whole music thing. Didn't necessarily want to go to LA because LA is just packed and crazy.
Yeah.
So like, mileage wise, I'm looking at miles wise from like LA to San Diego. It's like, oh, you can probably get there in an hour. But the traffic there is something else.
Yeah, I hear that. I've been to California a couple times, but just Lake Tahoe, snowboard. So that's it. Now, I mean, Lake Tahoe, I gotta imagine is a completely different animal than like LA or anything like that. Like,
Oh yeah, totally.
it's
And I'm close, like for like skiing purposes, like Tahoe's 3 hours from me,
okay. All right, right.
which is
I mean,
yeah,
it was super laid back when I was there, but I was amazed at the difference between one side of the mountain that's Tahoe and the other side's Reno, and like it's a completely different world on one side. I mean, landscape wise, it's like a desert
yeah,
on the one side, and then it's a beautiful timberland on the other side.
yeah. Gambling on one side,
Right, right, right,
pimples on the other.
right, right. A lot of degenerates on the Reno side, no doubt. But
That goes both ways.
yeah. Uh, so so I don't know what I'm seeing. I always see a lot of crazy on social media anyway, but it is tenfold right now. I started going down rabbit holes today on conspiracy theories, and it was just nuts. I mean, just like I cannot believe.
Yeah,
I hope that there's not as many pedophiles as they say there are on YouTube in the world, because holy shit, like everyone that's anybody's a pedophile
yeah.
uh, on YouTube, which is terrible. But
Have you been on TikTok yet?
my sons have showed me like a little bit of that. I have no fucking interest in that shit at all.
My daughter's on it, so I kind of like monitor her, but like, my adult account is just like, what the fuck?
Now, how old's your daughter?
She's 11.
Okay, yeah, I got my 18-year-olds. They'll show me something on there every once in a while. Their friends will make one or whatever. But I mean,
Yeah,
it's entertaining, and it is what it is. My sons tend to think it'll be something that'll be gone in a couple of years or something like that.
yeah. I think it will. Like, it's a time suck though, but like, especially now, it's like you just go through and there's like people doing stupid shit, jumping off roofs into like 2-foot pools, and it's entertaining in that level. It's very jackassery, but then there's like, the hot girls in swimsuits. It's just like, why wouldn't I not be on this for 2 hours?
I have to go on TikTok and check it out. They've only, whatever they see that's funny or something their friend did, they'll show me, but otherwise I don't know. And I mean, it's
Yeah.
from my understanding of it, it's just like a couple second, like 30-second or 15-second video that somebody makes.
Yeah, I think you kind of get a minute. So interesting enough with the music thing, my daughter's actually got a very unique voice, and she's just kind of learning how to figure it out. I just did my first techno song, and it's like a 2-minute song, but it's really stupid. Like, came home last Friday, hanging out at another friend's house. It's quarantine, so no safe.
Right.
And he called me like a super noodle. So I'm like, oh, we should make a dance song out of that. And like, we're joking around, but like, she produced, like, told me how to do it and use like certain voices and stuff.
Yeah.
So I did it, and it actually sounds pretty good. I have a buddy in Chicago that used to work with our old band Wally. He's going to mix it professionally because he does like, commercials, and he worked at Smashing Pumpkins and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Nice.
So he's going to do it, and like, we're going to do a dance. She's going to do a dance on TikTok and, see where it goes.
Right. No, hey, nowadays it's so weird where you can catch traction at, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that might be the spot. Who knows how it works? But I mean, the TikTok thing seems to be, like, music is the original TikTok, right? It's, You can get
Yeah.
something out of it. It's short. You know, you can be entertained by it. Um, you know, music's always been, for me at least, huge, like part of my life. As far as like my parents were both, there was always a stereo on. There was always music on in the house. You
Yeah.
know, I'm the same here. We've always got music on. I love having artists on the podcast just to talk about, like, you know, your influences and stuff like that. You sent me the one song, and I think I used it on a couple of podcasts. I only use music on like the audio version of the podcast. I never use it on the YouTube one, just
Yeah.
because if something's copyrighted, then they'll boot me off of. Like I picked up what I use. I used uh, um, a marine cadence or something for one of my podcasts, and it like told me that it was demonetized and wouldn't be available in some states. And I'm like, oh my god,
Oh,
like
interesting.
it was like nothing. It was like just something I found off of SoundCloud or something like that. It didn't
Yeah.
have a it didn't have a license that I could use it for anything. But I figured it was just really wasn't even music. But somebody
Yeah.
copyrighted it, so it couldn't use it. But
You know,
uh,
the copyright thing is weird. So like, you know, I was in a band called Wally in college. I don't know if you saw our show. It was 91, 92 would always kind of show up at the bars when we played like the South Side. Um, but we had that whole album copywritten, sent it to Washington, D.C. The copyright laws now, like, yeah, you're technically supposed to do that, but like if someone takes a song that I just wrote and I'm the first person to put it on the internet, then I go after it if I don't want someone using it. But
sure.
I don't think you'd ever have a problem if I ever sent you anything.
Right. Yeah, I just didn't know, so I'm always just like not putting music on the YouTube one and then putting it on the. I like
Yeah,
it. It seems weird to do an audio podcast and not have an intro music and then something to exit out with or something like that.
yeah,
But for the most part, most of my podcasts, it's just a conversation anyway. So having music on, I tried a couple. I had um, Brett Figuera on, and I had Bill Kenny on, and they're both, you know, guys that are in the local music scene and stuff like that. And I tried to run like where the conversation was going on, their music was playing in the background, but it was almost like you got to pick or choose. You got to listen to the music or the conversation because you can't do
yeah.
both. So it wasn't.
Well, I mean, you know, there are you got to look into it, and it's funny because I've done a couple videos, you know, just for my business. But there are sites where you can literally just upload the video, and then you do another track with the audio, and you just got to put it together. And then like, this is how I did it when I was doing it, is I would record the whole thing, then I go back and completely edit what I said because I wanted to sound professional.
There you go.
And I know how to do that through a system. And then I put it through a video.
I get into a bunch of controversial stuff all the time, so I never like to edit because then I
Yeah.
think somebody thinks that I tried to like change the angle of something or something like that. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
just listen to the conversation all the way through, and that's it. So I don't do much of that. The software that I use to edit the movie, the video clips for YouTube most of the time, they're it has a thing where you can change it. You know, so I can change the level of the music that's on there also
Yeah.
without changing the level of the audio, the voice audio stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
which works out fine. But you know, like I said, it just, you know, I want to talk to people about a topic, and music is a topic that's awesome because there's different things that mean so much to somebody, right? Like, I mean, if you had
Oh yeah.
an album that you listened to straight through, I mean, there were albums that I listened to that when I hear a song off that album, I know
Takes you
what
back.
I know what the, well, but besides that, I know
Yeah.
what the next song is on the album.
Yeah.
I just hear the single on the radio. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So like I'm like, you know which song's coming next. Um, and then yes, like I like when a band like covers stuff as far as like when Nirvana did that Unplugged album and they covered a bunch of Meat Puppet songs and
Yeah.
even Bowie songs and stuff like that. It's pretty cool when somebody does something a little bit different with something, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree. I totally dig that too.
Now, what would you say that you do? Like are you playing in a band right now?
Not right now, actually. And some of the people, if the high school folks get on this, uh, Wally is kind of getting back together. I just sent him a bunch of songs. This is the college band, and everything that kind of happened after high school. So we'll see what happens. I have like if they have over an album's worth of material that I sent to both other guitar players,
Nice.
and we'll see what happens. One lives in Wisconsin now, the other one's back in Illinois. The drummer's in Illinois, so yeah, we'll see.
Is that something that's even possible? Can you mix something or record everything like that without being?
Oh yeah, like it's really like you just do everything in a WAV file nowadays. Like I can record it through my little system here. You can plug in your amp, mic it up, and then put it down on a WAV file, send it to them. They can upload it on whatever system they're using. If it's GarageBand or
from a creative standpoint, though, does it work out so good if you're not there with each other?
With the last band I had, the other guy lived in Marin, which is probably like 40 minutes from me, the guitar player, and like we would just send links back and forth and like write our piece, and it would sound like shit putting it together, but like when we got together, it was like, oh, we nailed it, we worked it out, and it didn't take much because we had the idea.
I'm amazed at what's out there now as far as, I mean, my sons have to have, I won't say they're friends, but people that they know. There's all kinds of SoundCloud artists that are making stuff. Some of it to me sounds like shit. Like it's just absolute fucking shit. But
I can see 99% of it.
What's that?
I would say 99% of it, but it's
right. Well, yeah, I mean, some of it is just crap. It's just like, wow. But I think some of these people don't, I don't think I had the same appreciation for music until I got to be a certain age. Like I listened to music and everything else when I was in, high school and growing up and everything else. But like I liked punk music when I was in school, but I think I liked it for a totally different reason than I like it now. You know what I mean? Like I like the fact that there's no rules about it. You know what I mean? Now that's the appreciation I have for it now. But when I was in school, it didn't have anything to do with that. It had more to do with like the goofy shit they were saying, like the lyrics and everything else.
Yeah, totally.
Right, terrible artists as far as that goes. But I have an appreciation today for the fact that they were terrible artists. But
there's a sound to it. There's a uniqueness.
Right,
dude, I was just listening to Dead Kennedys a couple weeks ago, and it's like, dude, there's nothing better than that. I'm getting the chills right now just re-listening to that again.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't appreciate what it was, but like there's a certain sound, there's a certain angst, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna freaking go run, and I'm gonna listen to this.
Right.
Right. He's a horrible singer, and like everything's shit, but it was amazing.
It's amazing to me how if you listen to like 3 punk albums, by the third one, it's like they're learning on the job.
Yeah.
So much better at the art by the time it's like, holy shit, that's like a regular band now. When the first one was just a mess.
No, this is what it was. It's literally like they did their first 2 albums, like, oh, people like this. A record company came in and then they gave him a producer, and it's like someone's going, all right, now you got to play like this.
Could be for sure.
It ruins everything.
Right. Well, and then I was a guy who saw a bunch of punk bands live, and whoa, some of that was really shit. Like, I don't even think this is the same song that I got on this, on the album. But there it is. But so would you say punk was an influence in what you do?
A little bit. Like when I started, let's put it this way: in freshman year, I was an Anthrax fan and I was a U2 fan, so I was very fluid, and it was weird. But no one knew that I was like a musician or anything.
Sure.
And like, dude, I remember. This is funny. Do you remember Bill Bacon?
I do remember
Bill Bacon.
Yeah.
I remember being in an art class, and freshman year, trying to fit in and dressed like a fucking tool, right? And I walk in, and he looks at me, and he just laughs, and like he just cut me down like a motherfucker. And like, he was like threatening he's gonna kick my ass and stuff. And then someone told him that I played bass, and that I was good at it. And then he was like, turned into a different situation. He's like, oh, like you listen to Zeppelin and stuff? But like I totally get him, and I thank him for like, man, like I just remember that outfit that he just like gave me this, what the fuck are you doing?
Now, so are you the same year as like Bill Bacon and those guys?
Yeah, your sister too.
Okay, all right, yeah. So my Bill Bacon story is that I was coming over to East for a class, and he was like, when are you going to fight Tom Moy or whatever the hell?
Moy, yeah.
Right. And I was like, well, anytime that Tom Moy wants to fight me, I'll fight Tom Moy. And he I didn't know it, but he was standing next to me. So Tom punches me in the face, and then we fought.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I thought he was just on a Facebook thread where he was pissed off at me, and he was trying to rewrite history on me. But I fought him again just by chance at another party. But and I was gonna beat him up a third time, and John Stevens got into it instead with me, so I ended up fighting John Stevens that day. But anyways, so that was my Bill Bacon story as far as that goes. And then I saw Bill years later, like in Manhattan and stuff like the whole biker scene, deal and everything else. Because
Oh, is that where he's like? I've actually always wondered what happened to him. I don't, he's not on Facebook or anything, and I
right,
get why he wasn't. Like, that's not who he is, but he was. He ended up being a really cool dude.
yeah, I guess. I mean, I never really had that much to do with them. I was never a biker myself, but my buddy was. So we'd run into him here and there at the bars and everything else.
Yeah.
And I'm 2 years older than you, so I mean, most of those guys were not. And then, the crowd of people I ran around with, and then the crowd of people that Bill Bacon was running around with, we were like oil and water sort of a situation.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same for me too. But Bill did hang out with a bunch of the popular crowd
Is that
at
right?
some point. Yeah. So
I didn't know him that well in school, but
yeah.
I always seen like I said, when I saw him later, he was cool, whatever.
Yeah.
I know some people that motorcycle guys that I guess he's the head of some club or something like that, and they've got troubles with him or whatever now. But I mean,
Yeah.
grow up someday. But anyway, so yeah, no. My music tastes are like they're all over the place. I can be perfectly thrilled by listening to Dean Martin for hours, and then can go right from that to System of a Down. Like no,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I love that shit. Honestly, nowadays, if like I used to be kind of snobby about it, like I only want to listen to certain kind of music, but now I'm as eclectic as they come. I mean, I listen to Jack Johnson or Devo or whatever the hell
Yeah.
I can find. Some stuff I'm surprised by, like I'll never go looking to put on like AC/DC, but if it's on, I like to hear it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I get it. Because it's some things are just like you've heard too much in life. But yeah, I'm the same way. Like if you're in a certain mood or something, like
Right.
you
I'll
know.
tell you what, I saw Metallica.
Although I will listen to Bon Scott all the time. Like Blood
Yeah.
of Rosie is like one of my favorite songs.
There you go. Right. Well, and Led Zeppelin for me is something that never gets old.
Yeah.
I listen to Led Zeppelin all the time.
Yeah.
I saw Metallica in concert 3 times, and when I hear a Metallica song, I still love it, but I'm never looking to play Metallica just to play it. Like I don't know
Yeah.
what that's all about or whatever. And then I don't want to be a guy that ever gets old either. Like I still listen to brand new music all the time. There's some awesome. I love Cage the Elephant and all the new shit that's out there right now. They're making some fantastic music again.
Yeah, it's very chill. Like it's not less like look, Led Zeppelin for me too is like there's something about it that just brings me back. And like always, Zeppelin comes on, I go back to the being on Town Line Road with our friends at a bonfire at the party outside, and
right.
There's just something about that, and like that always hits me a certain way.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But the music nowadays, I'll be honest, like I don't look what a band name is, just because I don't know, like I just hear a song and I'll click on it and like that's what I want to hear. Like I like really chill, laid back. I want to do stuff and hear it in the background.
Yeah,
that's not how I write either. Like I'm very like I try to write a catchy line or try to get like that little pop into it.
Right. Now, so you're not in a band now, so you're not out like playing live or nothing like that, right? So,
No.
Which you got to miss that, right? Like that's got to be.
That was like the greatest thing ever.
I think that's got to be awesome. That's got to be incredible.
Yeah, yeah. To have like I think we played the show at U of I, and it was like their big concert series. Bloodhound Gang was like the headline, and we opened up like in a huge day. Like, we were number 2. Nerf Herders, another band, they opened up for us. And, you know, they had a song on the radio and they're like, go Wally. And you see the crowd just go fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Then we went up there and we only got like 5 songs, but it was cool.
Right.
And then like there were some fraternity parties that we did that was, you know, same thing, just a huge crowd. And like to have the crowd and like, and this is an example, like we were playing Illinois Wesleyan Derby Days, shitty stage. It's raining outside. We're in a cornfield and there's a giant like circus tent.
Right.
They have generators for lights and then they have the generators for music. The lights went out and we were playing U2's With or Without You, and the lighters went up and the entire crowd just like cheered and like started singing along. And then like we did like our popular song and they started singing that. And we just kept going without a hitch.
Nice.
It's just like, what just happened? Oh, all right, we can still hear each other, so we're going. But that was like one of the greatest experiences ever. Like I can't.
Right. I can't even imagine what, like, you know, like a band like U2 or Pearl Jam feels like when they're playing to a stadium. Like it's got the energy's got to be insane as far as that goes. And I mean, I think that some of those guys, it's a discipline in trying to not lose your mind. Like you got to, you're a god of some sort. And I mean, some guys lose it. Axl Rhodes obviously lost it. I mean, that dude was a rock god. And then now it's like, have you seen yourself in a mirror, dude?
Yeah.
Like, this is bad. Like you look like
but you know what? He kind of came irrelevant, you know, like the music he was doing, it was badass. I remember seeing that video for the first time on MTV as a kid and be like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, this is different. This is like heavy, but yet they're poppy. Like, this is fucking crazy.
Right. And the stuff that was in the lyrics was cool, like to hear what they were saying. The first guy that had that was Eric Conkle had that, and like we were listening to it, and no one knew who the hell they were, and like we were like deep into it, the whole album. I mean, you know, songs that you would never hear, Mr. Brownstone, and like songs we're not still. Mr. Brownstone's not really ready for prime time, but you know, like,
but it's a good song. It sticks in your head, and the funny thing is like none of us knew what brownstone meant back then.
No. Right. But I mean, we looked into it once we were listening to that.
Yeah.
But that's the same thing with like Prince. Like popular Prince songs are awesome, but the obscure ones are incredible if you listen to like all that stuff. And then you like can start looking at the connection between guys like Prince and guys like James Brown. The obscure James Brown shit is timeless. I mean, I was coaching wrestling, and I would bring like I Feel Good and Sex Machine and all that stuff into the wrestling room, and the kids dug the shit out of it. These are like, you know, 8 and 9-year-old kids that like, you know, think it's the coolest thing in the world to listen to that music. I think.
And you know what's cool about it is like when we were kids, I would not do that. I wouldn't be into like stuff like The Who for me. Like I couldn't really get into them. But now if I hear The Who, I'm like, oh yeah, of course. Because like there's a mental block. It's like, oh, that's old music.
Right.
The kids today, it's very fluid, right? And they listen to fucking everything, which is great.
The kids nowadays do really, really, really like they don't care how old it is at all.
Yeah.
All that. I'm sure if it gets to be too old, then it's something. But like I'm an Elvis fan. I'll listen to Elvis, you know, all day long too. And I mean, I like campy shit, man. So like the old fat Elvis is perfectly fine with me. You know, In the Ghetto, yes. Oh my God, man. So there was a guy who lost it, right? He lost it. He became the thing that everyone else thought he was, sort of thing. Like, you know, if you're that guy, you still got to be the regular guy. You know, like I hear like Tom Hanks, who's one of the biggest movie stars out there, is still like a regular Joe. You know what I mean? Like he's a guy. Elvis was not a guy, right? I mean, did you see? There was a movie that was a Prime original on Amazon, and it was the story of Elvis and Nixon.
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh my God! Do you know the story?
No, not at all.
So Elvis, you know, Elvis was like, he's a hayseed, right? He's a total hillbilly. He hated drug users and, you know, drugs in general. Although he was strung out on drugs
all the
constantly.
time.
Right. He felt like the drugs he was taking were from the doctor, and the drugs the Beatles were doing was terrible. So he tried for the longest time to get with Nixon because he wanted to be a agent at large, a narcotics agent for the government, and he wanted a badge and all this other stuff. So he was trying to like arrange this thing. Nixon knew that he had trouble with the younger voter, so his cabinet or his campaign or whatever got him to get together with Elvis. And then he found out that he loved Elvis. That like he thought Elvis was the greatest because Elvis is this hill rod, right?
Yeah.
This like this. I don't want to say he's like straight laced guy compared to the hippie scene that's going on, and the hippie scene absolutely fucking hates Nixon. So he finds like
He was a Republican.
right.
Probably a Democrat. Nothing's changed.
Right, he finds a brother in kind, and Elvis ends up giving like this like beautiful engraved gun to Nixon and all this other stuff. The movie or if you got Prime, check it out.
Oh, definitely will. That's awesome.
It is the guy that played Zod in the Superman movie is Elvis.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
Zod.
which doesn't seem like the right guy, but it is.
Yeah.
And then I think Kevin Spacey is Nixon.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Right, it was interesting, but anyways, it's a true story, and he gets his meeting, and it's they're like posing with guns and shit with Nixon. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Right. And I mean, Nixon is relevant today because the situation seems the same, right? We've got this president that somebody hates and then somebody loves.
Yeah.
When Nixon left office, he still had like a 28% approval rating. Like they weren't going to let him go, even though he absolutely did everything he did, they didn't care. So yeah, but that's just awesome. When I was a kid, I was like listening to Neil Diamond, Loving Spoonful, The Grassroots, everything Simon and Garfunkel, everything my dad was listening to, I was listening to. So like I had that growing up. Like, I mean, I didn't get in the car and not listen to Magic 104. Like it was all the time. So like I still know all that music too.
Oh, dude, Rod Stewart, Blondie, like, come on.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you what, I have a absolute love for 80s music, but like if you talk to one person, they'll say 80s music is Motley Crue and that stuff. And another person says 80s music is Duran Duran and like, the Police and the Talking Heads.
Yeah.
The Police and the Talking Heads are the stuff that I like. You know what I mean? Anything that was the Ramones, all that shit to me is awesome.
The Ramones were awesome too.
Right.
Like
It's amazing.
That is a band that just fucking they have so many hits. It was just, and it was punk, but it was like, they look like a bunch of degenerates, but like, holy shit, like they knew how to write a song. It was like bubblegum, in a way.
Right. It's so simple.
It wasn't fake.
No, oh God, no. Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't fake at all. I think that was my favorite thing about the punk thing was none of it was fake. It was almost like it's kind of the reason that I like podcasts is because there's like I don't do this for any money. I'm just doing it. I want to have conversations with people. I want to hear how someone got to where they're at.
Yeah.
I think that the general public's pretty fucking dumb, but everybody knows something, right? Something about something, right? So I mean, you can get a really dumb guy, but he's got a vast knowledge of I don't give a shit what it is, coins or whatever it is. He knows a lot about that shit.
Yeah.
And I don't want to. When I first started the podcast, a lot of people were like, "Oh, you're just going to get out there and argue with people." I'm not. I encourage, and I can't get them to come on most of the time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get people that have a different political view than me, but I think they feel like they're going to get beat up if they come on.
I completely was immersed with you and Sean. I'm going to say his last name wrong. Figuera?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So,
like, I was like getting ready to go do something, but like you guys were on in the background. I understood. Like, I think I'm the same way, man. Like, I'm in the middle, man. I think far left is stupid and far right is stupid. Like, you got to come together. But like you
Well,
said some things and he understood it, and then he said some things and you completely understood it.
yeah.
And like that's the point. Like that's where we should be as a country, right?
I honestly don't know where, between me and Sean, I don't know what because I don't consider myself far left and I don't consider him far right.
Yeah.
It's like I don't have I'm certainly not a Democrat. I have things that I look at and I'm like, listen, if it's a solution, then I'm all about it. I don't
Yeah.
care about anything else. Now, if it just has to adhere to an ideology, then I'm not for it either.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a Democrat because I almost feel like it's the WWE. I almost feel like it's just someone that's trying to be a heel and then someone that's trying to be the hero. It's all a show. I think these people are mostly friends, and
Yeah.
we're pitted against each other for no apparent reason.
So
Um,
I watched your video last night. Sorry to interrupt.
well,
Um, but you were talking about why isn't Gavin Newsom, a
yeah,
presidential candidate? He's absolutely going to be a presidential candidate. I went to college with Adam Kinzinger, so I know Adam.
yeah,
But like I've always said, these two pretty boys are going to go up head to head against each other. Um, and I'm telling you, like I used to love Gavin because he does have good ideas and everything, but lately he's turning into a politician.
right.
Things the shit I'm seeing on TV right now, it's not him. Like it's not what I used to see. And now it's like I'm gonna run for president someday. And like he's saying the things he's saying, and it's douchey.
Yeah, and that
Which is Bay Area to me.
so that's where like people think that I hate Trump. That'd be the only thing that I like about Trump, but that's over now. Donald Trump has become the best. He's the best politician I've ever seen in my life. I mean,
Yeah.
he is amazing at convincing somebody of something. He could say something last week and then on video and literally convince people 2 weeks later that he didn't say that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
In the politician standpoint, yeah.
Yes, amazing. Like he's the Pied Piper, man. He just plays that flute and they just follow. And it's like, wow. And I mean, the thing that really blows my mind about him, it's cult like because
Yeah.
I know people that we used to have discussions. I can't even have the discussions anymore because they were ideological discussions before, right? So I'd be having a conversation with a conservative or somebody who thinks they know the Constitution or something like that.
Yeah.
All of that is completely out the window. The evangelical Christians being Trump supporters,
Blows my mind.
whoa, I can't even. I mean, they're
Yeah.
like, listen, I spent 4 years going to a Bible group, and I mean one that we were like taking home homework, and I did it like for knowledge. I want to know what's in the book, so we were studying the scriptures and everything else. And if you were to take that book, he's the antithesis of what's in there. Like there is almost nothing about that man that has anything to do with that book, and these people follow him like 95%. Like it to me is
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's almost it's so crazy. I can't take my eyes off it. Like it's
Yeah.
like whoa.
I know, like I grew up like one of my best friends, like kid that grew up across the street from me, like even today, his parents were crazy Christian and he couldn't go trick or treating. And they are the biggest Trump supporters. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like when my daughter is like, someone says I'm gonna grab her in a pussy, I'm gonna fucking punch him in the face.
Well, I mean, like I said last night too.
And like that's not good.
No, right. There would be no way that I would want to leave my, sister, daughter, mother alone with that guy. Like,
Yeah.
that's a bad guy. As far as a human being goes, he's a bad person. Um,
Yeah.
like, there's nothing morally. I mean, even just take the greed factor. Like, everything he does has something to do with, like getting something for himself, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Like,
He's an opportunist. He's not a Republican. He's not a Democrat. He's an opportunist.
right, and he's the biggest. I mean, I think.
Yeah.
I'm a Sanders guy, but I even think that Sanders now has a little bit of egomaniac thing going on because he realized he could fill stadiums. I think he thinks he's better than he is. sort of
Yeah.
thing. Now, I think when he first ran in 16, I don't think he had those thoughts. But it's become that. I think it's hard not to fill a stadium worth of fans and not be like, I must be something special.
Right. Yeah.
You can't not think that.
Yeah.
So I mean, but Trump, the things, I mean, he's right in the middle of a pandemic, and he just breaks into. I just found out I'm #1 on Facebook. I was like,
No.
did you just say that? There's 60,000 people on the planet that have died of this pandemic, and he just found out he's
Yeah. I'm
#1.
#1.
Right? And I'm like, oh my god, this guy, like he
But
can't, like,
it's
yeah,
it's funny, like, I think a part of me is like, you never went to the big show, even though, like, we had Geffen Records like shopping our band, and I'm doing way too many quotes, by the way. Sorry. I don't think I normally do that, um, but I would never do that. Like, I appreciated Eddie Vedder when he was just like, dude, I want to be just a normal dude. Like, I feel like that's what I wanted to do.
right.
And I would never come out if like I ever had a hit that was like #1. I'd probably hate it just like everybody else does, because I've seen what happens even at like the local level. Like they've been bum rushed and asked for autographs, and like stupid shit's happened to me. So I've lived the rock star doing it again.
Yeah.
Rock star life, but in my own way. And like I'm fucking happy about it. Like no one else can say they've done that. And that
Right.
was
No,
cool for me.
right.
I don't need it to be a billion people. I don't like it. That was cool.
Oh,
And now I'm like really about like it's just the music. Whatever happens, happens. So like I'm not the egotistical, normal, back in Motley Crue, like fucking cocky. Everybody back then was.
right. I would imagine that the fame part of that has to be better than the money part, even.
Yeah.
Like, I
Oh,
mean,
because most of these dudes nowadays they make $35,000 a year. Like if you're a new band, you're literally making $35,000 a year. But when you go on tour,
yeah,
everything's comped. So you add that onto it. But the record label's paying for the bus, the show, this. When it comes, whatever, how you sign your contract, yeah, you're making 35, and you got to work your way up from 35 to.
so now what are you saying? You're saying that if you're just a studio musician, you make 35, or you're saying like
No, if I
you're not saying the Black Keys make $35,000 a year?
no. If let's just say today, like tomorrow, someone's interested in me and I get signed.
Yeah. Okay.
They're going to give me money up front to produce an album, do this, do that, and they're going to give me tour money. But the reality is when you tour the world, you're going to make $35,000. You're going to come home with $35,000 in your bank account. But when you travel and do that stuff, yeah, you're having the greatest time ever. But
Sure.
in reality, you have $35,000 in your bank account. And
Now, how you got to progress from there once you're a hit, though, right? I mean,
most people are one-hit wonders, so it's like it's hard to tell. Like they usually end up owing money to the record label, and things are changed. Like I love the fact that I can go out and like literally just put stuff on iTunes and Spotify and Rhapsody, whatever, Napster. I know how to do that now.
yeah, right.
It's just that's great. You can market yourself. But like to hit that level and you get someone to get the radio play, you have no soul. It's like you're kind of like you're at the whim of them. And still to this day, that's how it is.
Right.
If you want to be on popular radio, that's how it is.
Right. So like I always hear that people are dealing with, the record execs and stuff like that, and they end up ruining the music as far as that goes. Then you see stuff like Rolling Stone, the critics there, they hated Led Zeppelin. Like, I mean, they panned that band forever and
Yeah.
ever, it was terrible. And I just don't get it. There's almost nothing that I hear from Led Zeppelin today that I don't absolutely love. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's terrific. And I mean, they've even got that Greta Van Fleet that's like just a total ripoff of Led Zeppelin. And I'm fine with that too. Like it still sounds good as far as that goes.
I love them, but at the same time, it's like when they started dressing up like them and being them on stage, I'm like, yeah, fuck you. You're being a poser.
Right.
Just be you. Dress up in your pretty boy, whatever, if that's who you are.
Yeah, right.
Mimic Zeppelin. And guess what? They're never going to go anywhere again. That was a one-time show.
I didn't realize they did that.
Yeah. Oh, he's walking around barefoot. He's got like, the cowskin flangy little jacket.
Oh, jeez. I had
All
heard
of them do.
I had heard that Plant used to wear the shirt of the woman he was screwing last night.
Nice.
That's why he always had like female looking shirts on and stuff, was because it was from the girl last night.
Which, which invented Motley Crue
Right, 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 right. Hey,
and
think
the whole
about,
80s scene.
you got to think about that, right? Like when our parents first saw Motley Crue and they were totally dressed, androgynous and all that other stuff, they had to be like, all our sons are going to be gay. This is going to be the worst thing ever, right? Like,
Like my father always made fun of it. But I can tell you this, like my brother, he's 6 years older than me. He came home one night, he was out partying or something. He was like 21, comes home with Kill 'Em All.
oh yeah,
And, I go into his room and of course he's like, nah. He's like, check out this new album. These guys are great. Turn it on. And like I'm listening to it and I've never heard music like that. And I just remember turning it over and like looking at Cliff Burton, the bass player that died.
yeah,
I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you, dude? This is like scary shit. What's going on with you?
right, yeah, 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 yeah,
But
yeah.
it took a little bit to adapt to it.
I was never the guy who was like, I had friends that were drawn to that. I think like my buddy Eric, if there was something satan, like the Ozzy Osbourne played up that whole satanic angle and all that stuff, like that drew him in. I didn't care about that shit. Like,
Yeah, I did either.
no, I liked the music if the music was good, and that was it. Um, I did think that like Motley Crue and Poison, and I always thought that they were a little weird. Like, I don't know why they're putting on that makeup and shit. Um, I liked Kiss as a kid, but it wasn't
I
because
love Kiss as a kid.
yeah, because of the makeup though. I
Yeah.
think as an adult, I started listening to Kiss, and like the songs all sound too alike.
Yeah, they suck. And they're trying to make it poppy. And like,
Right.
look, Gene Simmons is one of the greatest marketers in the history of marketing. Like he's the power behind that, and like he made them all billionaires.
Yes. Right. 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 Right.
And
Right.
and
I mean, they
the
tried.
music is going that way too. Like look at the disco song they did. I was made for loving you, baby.
Now, so there's bands that like Queen, right? That
Yeah,
like, I mean, amazing music, and I think that people. I'm always kind of amazed by people who don't pay any attention to music the way that I pay attention to music.
yeah,
Like there's people that didn't realize that Queen was like the biggest band in the world at one time. Like outsold the Beatles and shit like that.
yeah,
As far as that goes, there was a thing running around social media that had like the album sales of bands, and like Queen was on top of it for like such a portion of time. It's amazing like how much good music you were saying a lot of people are one hit wonders, but a lot of bands. I mean, the Rolling Stones. It's almost like they're cheating.
yeah,
I don't care for anything that they've made new music wise in the last like 12, 15 years.
yeah,
All that old shit. Like I listened to all the way back to like the bluesy ripoff stuff, the Red Rooster and all the like super old Rolling Stone stuff, and I love it. I mean,
yeah.
it's
See,
awesome.
I'm not that person, and it's like I feel like there's so many people like you're a Stones person or you're a Beatles. Like there's a two different classifications, and
Absolutely.
I would completely say I'm Beatles, but I mean there are a couple Stone songs that I just like. Yeah, I totally get into it, but for
Sure.
the most part, I'm more of a poppy kind of like I want to hear a hook. I want something to catch my ear.
Okay,
And the
so yeah,
Stones didn't
so
necessarily did that.
right, I was going to
I
ask.
still appreciate them. I understand who they are, and
I'm the opposite. I would say that I'm definitely more Rolling Stones than Beatles, and I
Mhm.
think it's because I think it's edgier, sort of a thing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it is more punk, so I understand why you would.
Right, right, right. It's more like it's just more raw. Like
Yeah,
the and I mean I really like the Beatles, um, but when I hear stuff like I want to hold your hand, I want to puke. Like that's just not my it's too bubblegummy kind of
yeah, yeah.
thing like that. Um, but when I hear Blackbird singing in the dead of night, like when they got into that real hippie thing, like
That's
I
when I
don't
started
know.
smoking weed. Yeah,
Yes, yes, I no, and that's exactly where I was going. I think that the psychedelics and the weed made them better artists.
Yeah.
As far as it went,
Totally.
because it was just too, it was too much of a like a recipe in the early stuff. Now Elvis was the same way, but the thing I find about Elvis that I think is super cool is it was almost like you were. I want to say he's an innovator, but he was ripping off black music, but it was there was nobody to guide him with that. Like he was
Yeah.
doing things that was even when he was singing, like he covered songs like Tutti Frutti and stuff like that. It was still very raw. It was like just guys in a room, like garage music, as far as that
Yeah.
goes. There was the way that music was produced 20 years
Go
later,
back to
so much different,
one microphone in a room and you all had to do it. And he'd
right?
be up front of the microphone and everything in the back end. And
Right.
like, for me, I love like Robert Johnson, the old school blues and
Sure.
just jazz, Miles Davis, old school, because they recorded that way, you know? There's a certain sound. And like I was saying this earlier, there's a certain sound about the punk scene. There's a certain sound about this. What we have today, I don't think that certain sounds anymore. We're not recording on 2-inch tape. It's weird.
It is, and I mean some stuff that the original for me, like I listened to Leadbelly, but I'd rather listen to someone cover Leadbelly songs. It's almost I don't know. You can only get to a certain point. I don't want to hear. I don't really want to hear one guy with a guitar stomping his foot. Like
Yeah.
that's not enough. There needs to be a little bit more. You know,
Death.
I have a weird appreciation for music with horns in it. Um, and I didn't get that appreciation till I spent a good amount of time down in New Orleans, and there were guys on the street just playing trumpets
Yes.
and shit.
Yeah.
I was like blown away by,
I love New Orleans for that. Like
oh my God,
it's
the
just,
music was so, it made me listen to music a different way.
yeah.
Like
And it's,
I'll listen to a Cure song for the horns.
yeah.
I'll There's the one song that like progresses to like a much higher horn setup by the end of the song.
Yeah.
It's like Why Can't I Be You or something like that. But it's an amazing song with the horns, and then like I like anything that's got horns in it now.
All right.
But
Do you like Chicago stuff with like horns in it? Because
you know
like
what?
that's too far for me. I'm like, yeah.
I'm not a big. So my dad was a big Chicago fan, right? Like
Yeah.
that on all the time. I still like it for the horn stuff. I think I like it that they decided to bring that in there. I love the Ray Charles stuff that he did with the symphony.
Yeah. Oh, James Brown. Come on.
Oh,
He did it
absolutely.
too. Doot,
Right,
doot, doot.
right,
Like just
right,
spitting
right.
in it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Just so, but to me, like that, I don't know. For some people, I think it spreads it too thin. I see people that we went to high school with that still only want to listen to, Motley Crue and like I'm like,
Winger.
dude, yeah, right. You're missing
That was
all this other shit.
Molly's Crew was cool from 6th to 8th grade for me.
But there is stuff that I would not be caught dead listening to. I'll tell you what, I really love that Portugal the Man. That Feel It Still song I thought was awesome.
I know them. I have to hear the song.
Yeah, I can't even. But so
Come on, try to sing, Bill. Let's go. Let's go.
no, I wouldn't even bother. But I wouldn't be caught dead listening to that when I was in high school.
Yeah. No, I get it. Like, we're kids though. Like, especially boys. Like, we have angst, and like, there's, I think that was my thing with Anthrax. So, like, Anthrax, like, they were actually great writers, and the words just like identified to me. Like
Right.
they weren't like Slayer, and I love Slayer too, but they were like poppy lyrics in a thrash metal scene. So I
Right.
identified to that. And then like, I had the U2, Cure, REM, like all that shit. Like, I don't know, it was very eclectic in a way. Probably more so than anybody at that time. And then my friends used to make fun of me. And they used to listen to Public Enemy. And like now, like I look back at that, I'm like, oh fuck, Public Enemy was a shit. Can't hear it.
You hear that?
No, I can't.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
So
Now I hear it.
I'll get busted off YouTube if I play too much of it. But so like that would not be something that I would have gravitated towards, in school at all. In fact,
Yeah.
it would have been like a guilty pleasure. Would have let no one know that I like that. Then
Like like back then it'd be like a George Michael song. Like, that's actually
yes. I'm sorry.
He's so gay. Fuck him.
Right, but
Not that there's anything wrong with that today.
No, right, but still, it was. Hey, he was a talented guy as far as.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Uh, I think I did like Prince. I don't care who cared about that, but it would be like
Prince is out. Yeah.
Michael Jackson. Like, no way would I let anyone know. But when I go back and listen to Billie Jean now from Michael Jackson,
My favorite song.
Oh my God, I love
That song.
I love when a metal band takes those songs and redoes it.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Or like when the Lemonheads took that Simon and Garfunkel song. Just awesome, man.
We used to cover that back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Song.
Right.
It made it so much better, right? Like.
Absolutely. Yes, for sure. It's got
updated it.
It's got that same hook, so it's an immediate hit.
Yeah.
It's got that other edge to it too. So yeah. So no. But so like when have you ever talked to someone who's like, I don't like music?
Yeah.
Probably not in the world you're in, but I've talked to people that.
Well, actually, hold on. Like, I can say like, all right, I'm gonna like. There is a certain people that like the dancey bullshit bubblegum that's on the radio. They don't care who it is, and they like that, but they have no depth. I would say I've met a lot of those people, but there's no depth of why everything is the way it is. And
I literally met two people in my life that told me they don't like music.
That's weird.
And I'm like, that is weird. I'm like, really? I think every day of my life I wake up with a song in my head. Yeah. Sometimes I don't know where the hell it came from. And then I'll find out like 3 days later it's a fucking commercial on something, I was watching on TV or something like that. Like what was the Chili's or something right now is running that Irresistibles, the Robert Palmer song, Simply Irresistible.
Simply Irresistible.
Yeah, well, they have some meal that's like Irresistibles, and they're running that song. And I was waking up and I'm like, it's like, Ain't No Money, or I don't know, however the fucking song goes. And I'm like, why the fuck do I have that in my head? How do I got that in my head?
No, I'm telling you, I don't remember the song, but I woke up not 2 weeks ago with a song in my head that I was just like, what the fuck? Why is that song in my head? I would never listen to that fucking song. Right. Like, I'm not telling anybody about that one.
Right. Well, you grew up the same time I did, and I considered bands to be sellouts if they, were selling commercials, right? Like that was like, shit. How could you possibly do that? Nowadays, though, that's what makes them commercially viable. I mean, the Black Keys have Hellsberg Diamonds commercials that they're, like while the song is a brand new hit, it's a Hellsberg commercial. And they claim that's because of streaming and pirating and everything else that they can't make any money. So that's the way they have to go. So I have a different take on it now, but I remember being a kid and, oh my God, if the Circle Jerks or someone like that had.
Oh yeah.
Fuck you, yes, right. What the fuck was this?
Sid Vicious's career.
Yes. Oh my God. I absolutely loved that movie. I mean, that was.
Oh, Sid and Nancy? Yeah, that's one of the greatest movies ever. I agree.
Yes, and I mean, I absolutely loathe that woman actress for the rest of her life. Like, I'm like, Nancy, you piece of shit. He was like in and all kinds of other shit. Like, she was.
I'm 99.9% sure that Courtney Love is in that movie.
She is. Yes, she's.
Yes. Okay. And I'm like, I just remember like, that's Courtney. When she came out and was famous, I'm like, that's that lady in Sid and Nancy. So that you know it for a fact.
Yes,
I never looked it up.
Positive that she was in that, and the woman was Danny DeVito's girlfriend in Twins, Nancy.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, but I never liked her. And then Gary Altman.
He's awesome.
Oh my God, so awesome. I mean, terrific. And what was he in? Was he in Mozart? Or who did he played some?
Amadeus, right? Was it Amadeus you did?
Yes, right, right, right.
Yeah.
And then, did you see? He was in that Saving Grace with Sean Penn, where it was the Irish mob at Hell's Kitchen.
Yes, I think I have seen it. I don't remember names.
He played a totally like beat out drunk, like
I think I literally just watched that a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Terrific
But
actor.
like,
Right, right, right. So for me, the music and movies, like they go together. There's certain movies that I could watch over and over and over again.
yeah,
I could watch Barfly with Mickey Rourke in it a dozen times, and that never gets old as far as that goes. And I mean, that's got that like poet sort of. That's supposed to be a poet. Like I don't know who
yeah.
it is exactly, but
I haven't seen that one. I
oh
like Mickey Rourke. Yeah.
yes, and oh my God, it's not even like it was when Mickey Rourke was totally different. Like he was as dirty as can be in the goddamn movie, and it was like
Yeah.
drinks for my friends, and he just kept like going into the bar and getting beat up all the time or beating the guy. Like it was fucked up for sure.
Yeah.
But I think I like music the same way, right? Anything that's super different. My appreciation for Led Zeppelin is that they innovated stuff.
Yeah. And no one's been able
Appreciation
to
for
replicate it. No one's been able to replicate it.
no,
And
no.
even though that band was out there that kind of did, excuse me, it's not the same. Like, it might have been different if they just did not dress like that.
You're right,
But
right.
that's getting the record deal. And like these guys were around for like 4 or 5 years, videos, and like all of a sudden they were on Shameless, the Chicago show, right? Their song came up on a Shameless thing, and that's how they got popular. And they were just people in Michigan, and boom, there they are. They made a video, and
Right.
record labels got into them, and then the record label turned them into freaking Mini Zeppelin. The only time I think I would have respect that if it was Led Zeppelin's kids recreating Led Zeppelin, and if they can do it, right?
Sure.
I have no problem with Bonham playing drums with Zeppelin. Like that's how it should be.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely right. And I mean, Jason Bonham was a pretty damn good drummer in his own
Yeah.
right, as far as that goes. Now,
Absolutely.
that's the problem with like anybody trying to be Led Zeppelin. I know the story behind Led Zeppelin. Those guys were all super accomplished, talented people before they got together. I mean,
the Birds, Pages and the Birds or something, right?
Pages in the Yardbirds.
Yeah, Yardbirds.
Bonham was like, and then the local music scene there, he was like the drummer. Like they were like, oh my God, guys, like this is an innovator. I have a love for anyone that innovates, even if I don't like the music that much. I don't care for the guitar solo shit that Eddie Van Halen did.
Yeah.
I
used to.
Yes, right. But I don't now. But I still have an appreciation for the fact that nobody did that before him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
that people did, but he was the one that made it famous.
Right. But I mean, he took it to another level or whatever he did. But it was like insane the way this guy was, picking away as far as that went. And from what I heard of him, he would just spend days on end, like trying to play things that were almost impossible to play.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So, and
that's awesome. Like, I so appreciate that. Like,
right.
It's just weird because that shit doesn't mean anything. And like, I played bass, and like when I was 11 years old, that's when I got my first bass guitar. So I remember playing Barney Miller for the chorus, like, seventh grade chorus, and getting, the hot girl in 8th grade wanted to talk to me, and like, I was the redheaded stepchild, and all the girls fucking made fun of me.
Yeah.
Opening up another
bottle. There you go.
But like everybody, like, holy shit, so-and-so wants to talk to you. What? Really? Right. I kind of blew it off, and like we met in the hallway, and she's like, oh.
Oh, that's terrible.
I'll never forget that. I think it was like Jim Soldman. It was like, dude, oh my God, this is Rob Barr. And my friends were like, all happy, like now they're my friends, right? We
No,
play baseball together. We're best buds.
right. That's an instant way to get girls as far as that goes. I mean, be the guy on the stage. It's, sounds like the way to go. Bill Kenny, when he was on the podcast, had a funny line. He said, there's a huge difference in the sentence when you put the in there. He goes, if you're in the band, that's one thing. If you're in a band, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that makes sense. But
And I living back my old dreams. There have been like moments like one of my favorite shows is, and this sounds so bad. If any girls are listening, I'm sorry, but y'all made fun of me, so I had to like learn how to be cocky.
Right.
There was this. We were opening up for. I don't remember. It was a big band in Chicago. Like I think they all made it, and like we were there. And there we go. And a buddy of mine was on the radio. Do you ever listen to Kevin Matthews?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I met him a couple times.
Pugsley, Pugsley?
Yep.
Pugsley was at the show. He's a good friend of mine. And literally did that, went backstage, come back out and hang out with, the band and him. And you motherfucker! You just took the hottest fucking chick in the bar, did that. Fuck you! I'm on the radio.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. Right.
So, not bragging, but like for me, the redhead stepchild.
Oh well, shit, man. Better make him whatever you got work. That's for sure.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Right. So, and I always felt like when we grew up in a time where the music video became a thing, right?
Yeah.
And I definitely remember feeling like music videos when like the Rick Springfields of the world came in, that it ruined music a certain way. Like all of a sudden they had to be good looking. And I was like, oh no, like, the Rolling Stones are ugly people. Like they are not good looking people.
Yeah.
But the music for me was really important. I mean, I would even say like the Beatles aren't good looking men. But they got where they got on the music.
Yeah.
I mean, like even looking at like John Lennon, Yoko Ono, I was always like, really?
Yeah, dude, you could do so much better.
Yes. And I mean, and we grew up in a time where Yoko Ono actually looked presentable. If you saw pictures of her from the fucking 60s and 70s, it was really bad. I was like,
I never liked her at all.
One eyebrow, it's terrible, right? Okay. I'm like, why would a guy go with that? But
you know what? I can actually say this, and I would appreciate the fact that he actually loved her. Like, that's good. Like, don't be with the fucking hot. Like a lot today, all it is today. Who's the hottest chick? That's who I'm gonna marry. Divorce in 3 months. Like that's.
Oh yeah. No, right.
There's no morals to it anymore, and
I think I'd have a hard time if I was a household name. Why even get married? Like, I just don't even. I think it would be like impossible to do that. I mean,
yeah.
And if you're Yoko Ono, then I guess you got to hang out with him all the time, because women have to be throwing themselves, at that situation. So, but it's just, I don't know. All that's a weird. Even like McCarthy marrying the chick from Wings or whatever like that, or But
I think that was like a true love, though. Like those two.
I do.
Like I think those two would have been forever. I think you kind of learned. You like. I can't believe I'm saying this, but like, like I grew up a certain way. No girls like me, and then like all of a sudden I have this voice, and I'm sexiest man on campus, and all this bullshit. And like, what?
Nice.
And like, it just, you take advantage of it for a little bit. But like, now I think everybody should do that in their 20s. You should go fucking have fun. Like,
yeah.
Can't say that about my daughter, but she should.
Right.
But like, you realize what you want and what what's real, what's not, and and so many people like they fall in love. Guys are stupid. Oh, I'm gonna marry you at 21. You're divorced at 28, 30, and it's fucking hard for you because you have no fucking clue.
I told my son, I said, you got no you got no business getting married until you're 30. Like,
Exactly.
don't even do it, man. Just
Same with my daughter. Like, I'm telling her that too.
yep. Don't go see Europe. Go do anything you want to do. I mean, we're not much for like, buying the sports car or anything, but I mean, like, man, if you want to own a Corvette, do it now. Don't do it.
Yeah.
You look silly in the damn thing when you're 60. So,
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
all that stuff, right? But and then there is a lot to be said for finding someone that you genuinely like the person.
Yeah.
I would say the relationship I've been in with people that I genuinely like that person, the sex is better in those relationships than it is
Yeah.
with people that are good looking. So yeah, no, I totally agree.
Well, I'll say this, and like, I have an ex, but like, she's probably the first person I actually loved. Like, right? Horrible in bed. She's never gonna see this, so it's okay.
There you go.
But she was the most awesome in bed because how I felt about her.
Sure.
Which is like, and like, wow, that's like a weird thing to experience. And then you break up and it's like, really?
I'm a super skeptic of just about anything, right? So, like, I'd like to get like, a hypnotist on the podcast. I'd like to get someone who thinks they're psychic. I won't bust them out. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. I want to know what's going on in their head, but I don't believe any of that shit. Like, there's none of that to me that's even broaches reality.
Yeah.
So when it came to love, when I was younger, that I always kind of did it by the numbers, right? If it looked like it would work out by the numbers, if I thought I could trust her, like it was all that kind of thing. So when I got married, I really didn't marry a person that I was like, I thought that she was better than other people that I dated. I
Yeah.
got married more because, so I was in the Will County lockup for fighting, and I was in the orange jumpsuit, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, I gotta fucking settle down. This is too crazy, right? Too crazy. I can't do calm down. And I met a girl that was a wallflower. She had very little friends. She didn't like. I was not struck by her personality in any way.
Yeah.
But her family seemed stable. She didn't seem crazy. Like, I really gravitated towards crazy women. Like, that was my favorite.
Yeah.
I was always like, she's holding something behind her back. I don't know if it's a knife or a dildo, but we're gonna find out. So like, those were the fun ones for me.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the same for everybody.
some people wouldn't go with that. Like, when I see somebody, and everyone's got to make their own path and choose their own way. But when I see somebody that starts dating someone at 16 years old and then marries them in their 20s, I'm like, dude,
You're a dumbass. Yeah.
what if her vagina's sideways? What if something's totally wrong about that whole like, you don't know because you've never seen another one. Like,
Yeah.
you got to go experience the world. I think those are the people who get like, that 7-year itch, or like, 20 years later, they're like, what did I miss out on and everything else. Where
Yeah.
like, I dated girls that were like, when I was in my, late 30s and 40s, that were upset that I dated a lot of women. And I'm like, listen, I dated a lot of women, but I'm with you because I saw all that and decided to be here.
No,
So
that's absolutely true. And I think it goes for both men and women. And like, as guys, we don't hear it so much, but like, I've had some honest women in their life. They're like, yeah, they love sex. And like, I know you were like posting about this yesterday, so like, today.
right.
But women like sex just as much as men do. There's no,
Well,
but there's still discrimination about it.
right.
I don't know. I've come across some.
Uh, okay, so I just got to make some distinctions and my feelings on that. So I think that you're right. I've had women that I dated that were very, very, sex orientated, and that's fine. But I've had a conversation that I thought was funny with a woman, that she's like, women get horny just like men, and I'm like, no, that's not the same. And she's like,
I
what do you
think
mean? Like,
I think they do. There's not everybody. Well, hold on. I got to break this down a little bit. I'm sorry for interrupting. By the way.
Go.
But yes, they absolutely do. I think women totally get as horny as men do. And I know that we're thinking about it all the time
Right.
and they're not thinking about it as much. But when it comes down to it, like they are thinking about, like, they want to be laid. Women want to be laid. And I'm not saying this is coming out wrong already. Delete this part of the podcast. Um, but they're very sexual beings, just like we are. Like there's no difference except they know how to hold themselves better. Men just want to be like, "Da, da, 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 da," you know. That's the
Okay.
difference. Like,
Uh,
so what you're saying is true. We we think about it all the time. They don't, but like when they're on, they're on.
yeah, but like, okay, so
Yeah,
I've
save
been,
me.
I've been right. I've been somewhere. I was at Mardi Gras, and a guy I was with down there hanging out paid for a $13 blowjob, and I would have not gone anywhere near the woman he was getting the blowjob from. I think she had 3 teeth. She was obviously a heroin addict, and
Right? What the fuck? If
no,
you're
I'm
that
saying,
desperate, then like, all right, no,
okay,
that's whole. That's
so when I'm comparing men and women, I guarantee you, you could not find a woman that would have paid $13 for that same treatment from a dude that had no teeth.
all right. Women at a strip club, they are supposedly worse than men.
I don't doubt that they're worse than men, like as far as the way they're acting in that setting. There's also been all kinds of like, it's awful, but men that rape women and kill them, you don't hear about women raping men and stuffing them in a wall.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
And a man would be like, I wish that would happen to me.
right. Well, so that's what like
That's
the
fucked up, but yeah.
right the teachers that are having sex with the middle school boys, like it's not rape in the sense of like it is statutory rape, but the boy's consenting to it. Like he wants to go do that. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
but if you flip that over, like I don't think the girls when they're in middle school want like it's a different kind of rape situation.
Yeah, absolutely 100%
So I mean,
true.
and I
Because
honestly have an appreciation for women. Men are lazy with sex. Men will turn on porn and jerk off to that. Women can like use their own fucking brain. I mean, they're not. Most of them aren't watching porn on the regular. So
yeah.
it's a different thing as far as that goes. Um, I've always felt that as far as I don't want to say better than, but um, I broke my neck in 2003. I was on a floor in the rehab hospital with 28 people that had broken necks or broken backs or something like that. Two of them, because it's usually a guy that we have the jobs where we do that thing. We're skiing, we're doing the dumb shit.
Okay, let me interrupt you for a second.
Go.
I didn't know, like, you posted the last wrestling match for your kids. You're like, hey, I made it in the paper, and then I saw you in a wheelchair.
Oh,
I
shut
didn't
up.
know.
No
I,
shit.
I don't. I didn't know, and I figured you'd fucking hear that shit.
Right.
You
I
know,
don't,
I don't know what happened, and I don't want. I didn't want to bring it up because I'm like, but
it don't
like I
bother
don't
me.
know what happened.
Right. It don't bother me a bit. So I'll tell you, I'm a general contractor. I was up on scaffolding in 2003, and the scaffolding collapsed, and the side away from me went down hard, and it threw me up in the air, head over heels, and I dove into the ground. So I have a diving accident, but no water.
No
Um,
water.
right.
So I'm laughing.
Oh, yeah. Shit, I don't care. I don't. I don't hide it, but I don't use it in any way.
No, I know, and I appreciate you for doing that. Like,
Right.
I see you working. I have your kids are working. I know. I
Yep.
know you're a contractor,
Yep.
and like that's awesome. But I was totally blown back to like, not even from the the whispers. I never heard it. So
17
I was
years.
shocked, and like it gives me so much more respect for you, dude. Like,
Right. Well, that's why like my hands are like spatulas. I don't have my hands are paralyzed. Both of them. I'll tell you what. If I was paralyzed from the waist down, like I'd have perfect dexterity in my hands, I would absolutely have gone right into like I want to play an instrument for sure.
yeah,
Very difficult to try and work that out now. And like I'm paralyzed probably from about like here down. So even like my diaphragm, like I couldn't even, like to sing or something like that. That would not be a thing. But like
yeah,
I love music so much that like I would absolutely be like totally. I took one summer of guitar lessons as a kid, but I needed some more like the activity was not enough. Like I had to be like I'm always moving with my
Yeah.
hair on fire. Uh, but anyway, so I don't even know where I was going. Where was I going when I first said that had the broken
You know
neck?
what? I'm sorry to bring that back up, but
No. Don't even worry
I
about it.
didn't know. Fuck, dude.
It's
Bless you.
something. I
Dude, you're
look at
like,
it
you're
different.
doing shit. You're keeping it going. You're living with your kids. Everything I see from you is like the most positive thing. And like, I
So
didn't know you had this thing going on, and I
right.
fucking love you for it. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Good for
I
you.
appreciate it. Here's some cool things that I did from a wheelchair. Like I taught all three of my kids how to ride two-wheel bikes from a
That's
wheelchair.
awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
And what it really took was stopping and thinking about I couldn't do it the normal way, right? Where you run behind them with the hand on the bike or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, we literally I think it's a better way to teach a kid how to ride a bike than the way my dad did it. By the way my dad did it was pretty much a beating. If I didn't stand the goddamn bike, he's gonna kill me. Right. My mom took pictures of it and my dad was not happy. Uh oh, right, not good. Uh but I just had them get on the road with the bike, and then they tried to do one pedal, put their feet back down, two pedals, put their feet back down, and
Yeah.
then see how many they could get. And within half an hour, they were riding bikes. Like it was just no problem.
That's awesome.
Also taught them how to tie their shoes, and I have no dexterity in my hands, and they all learned how to tie their shoes. I had the boys in wrestling when they were 6, and
You wrestled in high school, right? If I remember,
I
like,
did
good.
not wrestle in high school. No, I
Yeah.
wrestled as a youth guy, and
You were
um,
just a scary kid with a mohawk. That's right.
right. I did box after high school, and I got my first fist fight in 5th grade with Jason Zednick, and then became best buddies with the guy, and then I got in fights every single year. It was just a thing that I did all the time. I always was. The way my parents did it, I was the new kid all the time. We moved to Frankfurt, and my parents didn't register me for school soon enough, so I had to go to an out-of-district school for 1 year. So I was the new kid for 1 year. Then I had to go to the school in my district for 1 year at 5th grade. Then we all went to junior. I was like the new kid every year. So it was just
Yeah.
a thing that happened.
That sucks. Yeah, I can imagine that sucks. But you know what? The funny thing is, my memory of you is like, I feel like I remember you being at East freshman year. Like, that's how I remember you
It,
all the time. Like, I just remember you walking through the hallways. And
I
I was
did. Now, what year did you graduate?
91.
90. So you're 2 years. So I was probably, when you were a freshman, I was a junior, right? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but like, I feel like I just seen you at East.
I know that I took greenhouse at East. I mean, I was not a good student.
Yeah, whatever.
Pretty much like, taking classes just to pass them to get out of there.
Yeah.
But, and that's how, that like I would be at East for the shop classes and stuff like that. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I just remember. All right, truth be known, your sister's gonna be like so pissed if she watches. My first, my first crush was your sister.
Oh,
It was like, no, it was a science class, and like, I'm not gonna give the girl's name. She's like, she likes you so much, and then finally got the nerve to like, hey, and she's like, fuck you.
I don't.
And she and I always had this love fucking hate relationship. She's like, get away from me, Rob. You're an idiot. But it was just funny. Like,
We're not close. We don't talk. So, just,
but
something.
like literally that was like something like you go to the fair and our friends would hang out and she'd be like, it'd be her and I. Fuck. I'm like, fuck.
Nice. I remember seeing my sister. I was like, I think I was like 20, and we are at some keg party where like, we're out in the field. There's 500 people, and I
Yeah.
go looking by the back of a truck, and Mikey O'Connor, or not Mikey, yeah, Mike O'Connor is sitting on the tailgate talking to my sister, and I looked at her and I go, hey, don't embarrass me, and Mike goes, who is that to you? And she goes, that's my brother. And he goes, oh no. And he got up and like walked away. And he goes to me, he goes, I didn't even know you had any family. I thought you ate them all. And I'm like, no, I didn't. But, I go, you go talk to her, do whatever you want. I don't care. It's just, it's up to I raised my daughter was the same way. I see these guys that post stuff on social media with the dad with the shotgun. And now you got a daughter. I never subscribed to that theory that I'm going to scare a boy. I subscribe to the theory that I'm going to have lots of talk with my daughter before she goes out with the boy, that she's going to make the right choice. Now,
that's what I do.
There you go. If the boy takes it upon himself to do something to my daughter, he's in deep shit. But otherwise, it's on my daughter to make good choices. As far as that goes. So I looked at my sister and said, hey, make good choices. Don't do anything stupid. I do not want to hear about this 3 days from now. So, that's just the way. But yeah, so we had a really good time growing up. I'll tell you what, the internet and the way that these kids grow up today, they don't do anything. Like, it's amazing to me the amount of not going to parties, and everyone's got a phone with a camera on it now. They get caught at everything they do. You know what I mean? Like,
they're stupid.
I know it's cliche. Everyone our age says it constantly, but I still could not imagine going somewhere where everybody has a camera and a video camera constantly. I mean, I wish that somebody had cameras. We used to have so much fun, but then again, I wouldn't want anyone to, have video proof of it.
Exactly.
Right.
No, I get it.
So you started playing music and stuff like that. Obviously,
way to redirect.
I know. I got but it had to make for. Obviously, it made for an awesome time in college. It had to make for a better time in high school too. I remember finding out guys that I liked that I had no idea played an instrument. Raul Patuari played the guitar, and he was like dedicated to it and stuff like that. I never knew that he played the guitar ever. But I mean, when I watched him play, I was like, holy shit, it's fucking amazing, like, that he does this.
How did you hear about me playing?
I want to say that I honestly think it was social media. I think that you posted some stuff, some music.
Oh, okay.
And I started paying attention. I definitely, when I see people, I get a lot of work through Facebook, but when I see people that have band stuff and everything else, I love music, man. I love to hear people that play it.
Yeah. I
always feel like people that are playing music have this elevated sense of it to begin with. So then, I like to be around that sort of a thing. You know what I mean? So like, it's an impressive skill. My dad's family's from Germany, and my grandfather and his siblings were all required to play an instrument. And they hated it, I guess, because they didn't require their children to do it. I wish they would have kept that going.
I grew up with people that were forced to do it, and it's hard, like, if you're forced to do it, it's one thing. And then you can be a genius. You can be the greatest. You can be Eddie Van Halen. You can be this. But, like, when you want to do it, and, like, that's how I was. Like, at 11, I picked up a bass, and out of my brother, my brother was playing Randy Rhoads, in senior year in high school. And then, like, I'm playing along with him. And it really clicked with me really quick for whatever reason. But it's like, I've always wanted, like, my first experience was like diapers, and I wanted a guitar. And I remember asking for a guitar, and they gave me this plastic country guitar, and I was pissed because it was like out of tune, strings weren't real, just doesn't sound like that.
Right.
And it was like the shittiest fucking thing my parents could have gave me.
Now, as far as the bass guitar goes, besides like I'm trying to think of, like, I dig the bass guitar, but like Flea would be the guy that would come to mind.
All right.
The band Primus has got some like killer bass guitar stuff going on there. And
all right.
That whole.
Want to hear my progression? Or hold on. I can tell you my progression. Like, go ahead. Like, what?
Yeah, go. No, you go. Well, then the other part would be that listening to funk, listening to I'm Rick James, bitch. Like, all that stuff was awesome bass guitar stuff.
All right. So this is like no bullshit. Like I was kind of a protege on the bass. Like 11 years old, 5th grade, I get a bass guitar. 6th grade, my brother teaches me a Van Halen song. Dude, like it was fair warning.
Okay.
Right away I get it. And then the next level I went to was Rush, which Geddy Lee is a freaking crazy.
Right.
Like by 7th grade I was playing Rush, and also Steve Harris from Iron Maiden. Like I don't know which one came first.
Yeah, I
Honestly.
loved Iron Maiden as a kid. Oh my God.
Like that bass player is like, my fingers move that way because of him. So I probably assumed that was first, and then Rush came in, and then David Lee Roth left, Van Halen, and this guy Billy Sheehan came out. Billy Sheehan supposedly was actually the first guy that did the hammer-on stuff before Eddie Van Halen. He did it on bass.
Oh wow.
And Eddie stole it from him, and that's why David Lee Roth,
Got it.
Yankee Rose and all that stuff. So I was playing all that, and then my brother gives me Mother's Milk, and I'm like, I just couldn't register it because everything was like metal, right? And this was funk. I fucking hated him. Like it was like maybe it was like freshman, sophomore year. I forget when Mother's Milk came out. But 91, Chili Peppers came out, and like finally like mastered it, and like I figured out the Blood Sugar Sex Magic album.
Sure.
And then I went backwards, and I was able to freaking play Flea. Like holy shit! Like it pissed me off, dude. Like I could not do Flea. You want to hear a fucking funny story?
Yeah.
So about 10 years ago, I'm in Big Sur. We go out for breakfast. Right, my family and I are going to breakfast, and in this bakery, and there's this doorway, and the sun's coming in, and it's right when they have like the Vibram shoes, like the toe shoes. Like your big toe goes here. I'm like, been reading about them. I'm like, yeah, I want to get those. And I see some guy coming in through the sun, and I see the Vibram shoes.
So you're talking about the running shoes, right? The ones that look like a glove?
They're like foot shoes, like
Yeah, the running shoes, right?
yeah, but they're like they follow your feet, like this toes, like
yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And
Right?
so I see this guy wearing them, and he's like, "Hey man, how you doing?" Cool. And walk outside. I'm out there. My ex is like getting breakfast. She comes out, and like I see this super super hot redhead come out, and I'm like, all right, she's got to be a model. Whatever. And then a second later, Flea comes out. He's the guy in the shoes.
Oh wow.
Someone that like challenged me as a bass player. And my daughter starts hanging out with his daughter Sunshine, and I remember that because they were like climbing a tree together, like roughly the same age. And Erica's like, just go say something to him. I'm like, no, you don't want to be bothered. I'm like, he fucking came up and said, hey man, how you doing? And I went, hey.
Right, she didn't recognize him, right?
I didn't, because like the sun was in. I just saw the shoes. Like there was like the shadow, and I was like torn in the shoes. And he's like the sweetest man. Hey, how you doing? And he came out. I'm like,
That's awesome. Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, and that's
benefits of living in California. But like that was like I was so pissed, and like I wish I listened to my ex and like maybe talk to him, but like I'm so like not like that. Like he's with his family. I'm not gonna interrupt it.
Sure.
Granted, our kids are hanging out, but like fucking let it just be that. Like that's a story.
Yeah. No, that is that right. I mean, you guys do have enough. You probably could have had an hour conversation with the guy.
Yeah.
Over the bass stuff and everything else. I always thought he was amazing as far as the bass guitar goes. I would say that like that stuff and like Primus and everything else was all stuff that made me really realize like mine went backwards. I got the bass guitar stuff from that, and then I went back to like, oh my God, all that Rick James stuff and everything else had that in there. I didn't know it. And then even some like James Brown stuff had a pretty good bass, section in it and stuff like that. So I was like, oh my God, this is all. I didn't realize what I was listening to too much later.
Yeah.
How that goes. But
so, go ahead.
no, you go.
Um, there's a, excuse me, Brooklyn. There's a place called Players Guitar in Chicago, and Mike, the guy that owns it, like builds guitars for Kiss, and he's well known in the industry, right? He was a fan of our music. And I remember going there for something, and Miles Davis's bass player was like, he's the guy that taught me how to slap because I couldn't figure it out. And like he literally took me in a corner. That's all you gotta do, baby. And he showed me how to play
Yeah,
slap bass.
that's
And
a
like that's like one of the greatest. Miles Davis's fucking bass player
yeah,
taught
right.
me how to do that. And I was,
Yeah,
just
that's
experiences like that. It's like stupid. You think, if I die tomorrow, I fucking did everything, man. Like that happened to me. There's so many stupid things
right, right.
happen to me that like
Yeah,
no one could ever fathom. And there's more. Like, dude, like there's just so much more. Like Katy Perry opening up for me in LA, hanging out at Adam Levine's house. Like
yeah, right, right.
shit
No,
like happened. You can
yes.
ask about it, but like it's up to you. Like you're in charge of this thing.
Oh no, 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 no. I mean, I wouldn't, I wouldn't even know where to begin in asking you stuff. So like, no, that stuff's. I mean, so now is that the reason that you like left the Midwest and went to California was to be around that scene?
Not necessarily the scene. I always wanted our old band to do it. And like we gotta go to LA or back at that time we should have went to Seattle and no one wanted to do it. Like we can make it here.
Yeah,
And then we opened up for the Bloodhound Gang and like I reached out to people and like we want to hear, Geffen sends me a letter. We want to hear you do more.
yeah,
And then we go in and I take our most popular songs, and this is my fault, I think, why we didn't make it, because I'm very eclectic with my shit. I had a reggae song, I had a pop song, I had this song, I had that song. And the band agreed. But like to be eclectic at that time, that's why I didn't make it.
yeah.
And
Which is
like you're everywhere, dude. Like you're so everywhere. Like our album, and like you never heard it, I'll send it to you. But
yeah,
it's like you'll hear Pearl Jam, you'll hear U2, you'll hear Beatles, you'll hear this, you'll hear that. And at that time, with this guy Ted Hoekstra was his name, he's like, I just want it to sound the same. Like that's fucking stupid. I fucking hate that.
right, 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 right.
Like for me personally, I really did have a problem with that because I'm like, I like all types of music, and like if I'm gonna write something, I don't fucking care what genre it is. It's what I'm feeling, and that's how it comes out.
Right. Well, see, now I love when, like, we didn't even talk about reggae music. I love some reggae music. I mean, it is for reggae music for me is something that if I'm around the house by myself, I love to have like some Bob Marley and the Wailers, all that kind of stuff on. And then like when Sublime did that album where there's a bunch of reggae, like
Yeah,
I was
Scott.
like,
Yeah.
man, that is awesome. Just like incredible way to like put that into the music as far as that goes.
So before any of that happened, we were doing this song. It was a Brady Bunch song, and it was like I wrote a song about the Brady Bunch. Like, let me tell you a story about the man named Brady,
Yeah, there you
and it
go.
was a reggae song, and everybody loved it because like we did shana na 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 na, and like the guy who couldn't sing could like do the bad part.
Right.
That was huge in our set, and I don't know, like even for a comedy thing, like do that.
Yeah, right, right, right.
Like that was like one of the most requested songs when we played live. Like, do the Brady song,
But also, how does it end up that the band you're in deteriorates? Because I mean, it sounds like you were,
Drummers.
yeah, yeah,
Always the drummer. No, and like, it is ultimately like drummer. If you don't have a good drummer, you don't have a good band. Like that's my if you don't have anybody that's like and if you think about it, all the bands you're listening to, can they play a drum, like 3-piece drum, like hi-hat, snare, bass pedal? Most of the band, like KG Elephant, like they can do that. That guy can do
yeah,
that.
right,
And he can play piano.
sure.
And he may not play it like that, but they're better musicians. The kids today are so much better at playing instruments than we were.
It's
Even though like I grew up doing,
right. I've dug some bands that the drummer was the most talented person in the band, right? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, when you got like the weird stuff like Sheila E. and like that was super cool. Who was
Sheila E. lives in my hometown, by the way.
oh really?
She's somewhere here.
Nice, nice.
Haven't seen her yet, but
Yeah, I mean, I always thought it was like totally cool shit. And then like Lenny Kravitz had that drummer that was like just super, like the drummer made it happen. And
yeah,
obviously, like, I still loved like Phil Collins and all that kind of stuff. Um, there were some bands that were amazing. How talented all of them were. Like Genesis, all those guys were talented. I mean,
yeah.
Peter Gabriel's got some incredible music. Some of it is strange, but it's still like
It's
wonderful.
great. He's pushing buttons. It's great.
Yes,
I
right,
love that.
right. No, so I think it's I don't live in a world where like creativity is for for work wise is there, right? I mean, being a real estate broker and a general contractor, there's a certain artsiness to the contractor thing, right? Like if I'm doing stuff like outdoor living spaces and stuff like that, if you got an eye for something that looks good, having that creative
Yeah.
left brain or whatever is good. But like my world's not that. But I still, and then like my boys wrestle and everything else. I encourage them to listen to music, to like get like even like stuff like they look at me like I'm got five heads, but I'm like, man, what about like doing something play wise or drama wise or something like that?
Yeah.
That's just strange. The wrestling thing, I think that more top wrestlers should get into acting because. So I made like a weekend living or hobby out of sizing guys up, right? Like I would look at a guy and all guys front like they're tough guys. And I look at him and go, nah, you ain't that guy.
Yeah.
And then we go find out. And most of the time we find out that they're not that guy. But wrestlers got a certain look to them that's a tough guy. When I see guys in movies that are playing tough guys, I'm like, there's no fucking way that guy's a tough
Yeah,
guy.
the real tough guy.
No, there's no way. And I mean, the problem is the general public. If you go to high level wrestling, and I take someone there that doesn't know wrestling, they'll generally pick the wrong guy to win. They're picking him on
Oh yeah,
like that's got nothing to do with
absolutely. Yeah.
nothing to do with it.
That's why I don't watch it because, like, you know,
Right. Well, boxing's the same way. You'll see guys that you'll like. There's no way he's going to beat that guy that's built like an Adonis, and he
yeah,
smokes him. Just it's a totally different thing. Um, so the music thing, like my segue here is that when you see a wrestler that's top end, they got the turned out ears. They usually got like the hooded eyes because they've been taking a beating around the head and everything else.
yeah. I know.
In music, guys have to dedicate themselves to it so much. Can you look at an artist and see something on? Is there a trait on them that you can see? Like, is there something in their hands? Is there something that?
It's look. I don't. It's hard, like it's really hard to do this, and it's hard to like have some ability. And I've always been told, look, there's this guy Jeff Boyle, and like in 91, I got sent to do a Coors Light commercial, which ended up being like a 10-year stint. And
Wow.
every time he got played through the nation, I would have made 30 cents, which would equivalent to $100,000 on in college. And I think the only thing I did wrong is like instead of saying, I'm going to sing it, I was singing, tap the Rockies, Coors Light. They wanted Coors Light. Core versus Core.
Okay.
Core. Because in Chicago, I think we say Coors Light.
Sure.
Everywhere else says Coors.
Of course.
And I think that's why I lost it. Fuck, that would have been amazing. But like, had the opportunity to do that.
Right. No, I mean, just putting
Yeah.
yourself in that room, yeah, it's amazing because there's sort of people that live their entire lives and never even brush up close to that setup. Like I said, I think that it's really cool that you can just pick up a guitar and play a riff, or you can do something that someone would recognize right away. I remember being like in my 20s and thinking, how
I'm not
awesome.
that person though, by the way. I'm not
What?
that person. I'm not that person that you think I would. Like, but go on.
No, but I remember being in my 20s and thinking, I should go out and take a piano lesson just to learn a couple things so that I could go to a piano and impress a girl. Because I think it'd be hugely impressive if I could just play a little something. I don't
Yeah.
care what it is, just a little tiny something. If I can play anything, I can't play shit. I can't even play chopsticks. But I mean, I just think that it's an impressive thing. I was out to dinner with Engelbert DeCastro. Do you know who Engelbert is?
No.
Okay, he was probably close to your year. I think he's a year younger than me. Um, but he lives in New York. He's in the fashion industry, and he speaks
Awesome.
pretty fluent French.
Yeah.
We were all out to, a bunch of us were out to dinner, and there was a French Canadian that was sitting outside in the cold, like French Canadians like to do. And we went out there to get some pictures in the city, and she said something in sort of in French, and then he started speaking French with her, and she was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then they both started talking French,
That's
and I was
awesome.
like, "It was awesome. It was totally cool."
Yeah.
So like, I have for years practiced. It's a terrible language, but German has been the language that I've always like, practiced.
Achtung!
Oh God, it's Castilla. It's all grunts and like, just it's the least romantic language that ever
I
was.
know.
Right.
All right, I gotta tell you a story. My daughter was on Team Germany. I literally learned phrases. Like one of the moms was like from Germany, and
Okay.
I was being a smartass. And then like on the last game, I brought David Hasselhoff
Oh my God, David.
in the middle of the field, and everybody died. Like it was just like stupid. I'm an idiot. I'll do anything to make someone laugh. So
Right. We all do too, man. A goddamn clown. But
and
yeah,
the kids are like, "Who's this guy? I don't
right,
know. Kick the ball and see if you can hit his head."
right. Well, I'll tell you what, like, I totally dug that, what was it, German band?
Rammstein.
Rammstein,
Yeah.
right. Du hast. Yeah, I mean, like, I thought that was awesome to be able to listen to that. And like now when I listen to it, I can pick up a little bit of what they're saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the songs. So for me, like I still do it all the time. I got like some apps on my phone that I'm doing, German lessons with and stuff like that. I just think that it's awesome to have a skill. I mean, it's nowhere on the level of, obviously when I pick up a bass guitar or anything like that. When you said you're not that guy, you mean you're not the guy in Animal House that picks up a guitar for the girls?
Well, I can do that. I do it with my voice. It's not because of my guitar playing.
There you go.
And like,
Oh,
this is all right. This is the stupid thing. Like, I broke up with someone that I actually loved, and like, I got used. It was like, here's the thing about doing that is when a girl likes you because you do A, B, and C, and their parents are in worldwide operations for like Chevron, you're not having enough. Like, you're just the rock star dude that like, oh my God, I never had that guy.
right.
That was my ex, right? And I hate to say that, but it sucks because I thought I could identify that and not pull back.
Right.
You want to hear the funniest story ever?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so I'm playing Viper Room in LA. It's the first time my ex came down to actually see me play live. Katy Perry opened up for me. This is before Katy Perry was Katy Perry.
Obviously, right.
And, she comes in, she's got this green jacket on. She takes it off when she went on stage, and it's like a swan or something, Katy Perry literally came up to me at the bar. Downstairs where River Phoenix died, and we're all like hanging out down there. And she's like, "Come upstairs with me." And I'm like, "Well, I've been seeing this girl, and I think that'd be kind of rude." She's like, "Fuck that. Come upstairs with me."
Wow.
I turned it down.
You fool.
Old me would be like, "Fuck yeah, you came down here from the Bay Area."
Right. Yeah.
But I was older and more mature. But that really happened.
Nice. Hey. And then right, that's yeah, right. I don't know, man. You gotta get back to those days for sure. Holy
I
cow.
know. I think they're gone. Uh, Another cool story that happened to me that would, if there's girls that listen to this, um, my friend Gene came out from Chicago, and I sang somewhere, and again, this is like 10 years ago, where like Jerry's Deli is like a big thing in Hollywood or Beverly Hills. They have a bar, and like I was at the bar, and I sang, and then I remember some guy going up and singing. He had a high voice, whatever. Go back and sing again, and then Gene's like, "Dude, this guy just invited us to his house. Let's go party afterwards." So yeah, we go over to his house. There's guitars on the wall. You name it. It's like up in a canyon. It's a small house, but it's up in a canyon, like looking through a valley. It's not normal Hollywood. It was like off. Like I couldn't remember how to get there again.
Sure.
But there, and I'm like, there's tons of beer, but there's no bottle opener. And this guy was like, "Oh, I'll open it for you." So we're hanging out in this back deck, looking at this weird valley, and I'm like, "Hey, are you in a band or something? Because I see you have a lot of guitars there." And he looks at me and goes like, "Yeah, I'm in Maroon 5.
Nice.
Andy Milonakis was there. It was just the weirdest thing. And like, oh shit, dude, I'm sorry.
Now, right. So wait,
But he wasn't Maroon 5
right now that
as
band
he is now.
is that the band that's got the guy in it that there's a guy that's in one of those bands that's like
The
crazy.
hottest guy ever.
What is he?
He's like every girl wants him. He
Right,
is.
there's one that's I can't remember who the guy is. He claims that he's like been abducted by aliens and like
Oh no.
oh yeah, he was on Rogan and like it's like he claims he's working for the government, to talk about aliens and all this other stuff. I was like, oh my god, like he quit the band to pursue his.
Oh fuck! I know who you're talking about.
It's not like Matchbox 20 or like Maroon 5.
No, but it's something like that.
Right. It's one of those
I
like
read the same thing, but I don't know who it is.
Right. And he just like he ditched an entire lifestyle of like hot chicks and like fame and everything else.
Yeah.
So he could like go find aliens and shit. And I'm like, oh my
But
god.
like, oh, so you don't know who Adam Levine is? Adam Levine is like he started this, The Voice. Like he was the original guy.
I know who he is. I know, right. He's the guy that did the Super Bowl show with no shirt on. And
yeah, but he was literally the coolest motherfucker I've ever met. Like,
wait a minute. Are you saying that was Adam Levine?
yeah.
Oh no shit.
I was at Maroon 5, Adam Levine's house. Adam's like, I don't have a bottle opener, so he's opening our beers from his keychain.
Oh, nice.
And seriously, it was like he was this coolest motherfucker ever.
Sure, yeah.
And Gene will watch this and he'll testify to this.
Yeah. What's called?
It was just a crazy night,
Right. He seems like a super cool guy. And I mean, I don't know if there's a bigger song than that Moves Like Jagger song that, that was their song, right? Moves Like Jagger.
Yeah, that's one of theirs. But like, this is way before that. It was like after their first tour. But it's like, I like to tell like, yeah, I was in Adam Levine's bedroom and I used his master bathroom.
There you go. Right. Now, if you're in a band like that, the money is still like, it blows my mind that somebody like, Dr. Dre or Puff Daddy Combs, those guys are billionaires.
Well, it was poor at beginning too.
Yeah.
Like just watch NWA.
Right.
That shows you right there. Like that's pretty much real. Like Suge held all his money.
Right. But I mean, the amount of money that's there it's still phenomenal, right? Like it's still like, if you have that one hit, that's huge. Like I like that Somebody I Used to Know by Gautier.
Yeah, that was the biggest ever.
Oh my God. And it's a song that when I hear it, it almost encapsulates that heartache you have every time you break up with somebody.
So for me, I heard that before anybody else heard it.
Okay.
And I literally at 2 a.m, 3 a.m, it's in my head. It never left my head.
Right.
in a weird way, that is like the greatest song that was ever written because I've never heard a song once and it woke me up.
Yeah. Usually has to
All right,
grow.
I have to ask a question.
Go.
Do we get timeouts?
Oh yeah, we can do that. Or you know what? We're already like 2.5, almost 2 hours and 10 minutes into it. Let's just cut it and then we'll go again like next week or something.
It's up to you. You want to hang out or
It's fine by me. I'm not going anywhere.
it's early by me, so
There you go, man.
it's only eight.
I'll pause it and go and do what you got to do.
3 minutes. Pete.
Yep. There you go. All right, so I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So I see people that play in bands that play remember Seinfeld where Elaine was dancing and it was
Yeah.
like terrible, right? Like she's a terrible dancer. I can't remember what she was dancing to. It was like some shitty white band that like doesn't like play any kind of dance music, but she was dancing to it.
I don't remember.
Being a bass guitarist, do you have more rhythm because you're the rhythm section than say a lead guitar guy or the singer? I would not suspect that somebody that's just a straight singer has rhythm, right?
Yeah. I don't know. The only thing you can say is like I remember like we had like this really good bass player in our old band, Wally, and I'm like, I can do it, guys. They're like, and then I did it, and they're like, holy shit. Singing and playing bass is very hard. I don't know how I did it, but like you're usually going against the rhythm. Like a guitar has the melody, right? You're
Yeah.
following the guitar. The bass is, going on the outside of it with a drum.
Yes, right. I get it. Yeah.
So I don't know.
So like, okay, so when it came to like me and my friends, we'd go out to the bars and stuff like that, and I could dance. Like I could like totally cut a rug. And I mean,
Yeah.
if it was like at weddings and stuff too, like if they played Elvis, I could like, shake my left leg. I could do my whole, Elvis impersonation. And then like regular dance shit that, like, I don't want to say dance moves, but like things that were popular, I could mimic them, no problem. I had rhythm. But like,
yeah, I could do that too. Like I remember like hearing back in the day and back in school, like, oh, wow, Scott Fletcher was my best buds back then. And he and I were like, you guys can dance.
Right. Where I'm
like
telling
now
you,
I look back at it, it's like stupid, but yeah.
Right. Most dudes though couldn't dance. Like I would go out with 5 or 6 guys and almost nobody could dance. Some guys wouldn't even go anywhere near the dance floor because they were nothing to do with that. I just didn't know if like having the bass guitar thing, you got to have rhythm. Like that's got to be a.
Well, I wouldn't say it's like the bass guitar thing. It's like if you're into music, like you have no skills at playing instruments, but like you know how to dance. That happens to people.
Right. There's some music that I listen to that doesn't. I don't know. Like I'm always amazed by someone who doesn't like a really good music that I like makes me want to move some way somehow.
Yeah.
Like that's part of the music for me. But there is definitely like I don't want to dance to Leonard Skinner.
All right, that's weird, right? Come on.
But like
back in high school, I was free.
Right, that's like shitty dancing. Like what was the song at my prom that was like a Cheap Trick song, but like and everyone was dancing to it, but it's like
I was all right. That is all right.
It wasn't even like that. It was like something like there was a.
Oh no! It's like
There was the love ballad that like Cheap Trick did.
All right, I'm gonna say this about Cheap Trick. I think Cheap Trick is like my biggest influence, and I think that's why I became a singer.
Nice.
Even though they're ripping off Beatles,
and
they were, but I fucking love Cheap Trick.
Right.
And
I
eternal flame. Yeah.
Now Cheap Trick was awesome, and they're local. They're from Aurora.
No, Rockford.
Rockford, okay, right. Oh my God, Rockford's a mess now. Rockford is like the meth capital of Illinois. It's a bad place to be. But But yeah, so I mean, it's always cool to hear those like local, the bands that are from the area. Super cool. I dig it that there's different music scenes. Like I would say I'm more. And it's another one of those like Beatles and Stones thing. I'm more Nirvana than Pearl Jam.
I'm I love them both, but I was more Pearl Jam because I sing just like Eddie Vedder.
Is there okay? All right, right.
Yeah, and I would be able to do that. I hate their new music. I just listen to their new album, and I can go through an album and go, yes, yes, no, 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 and like everything they produced, no, 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 maybe, no, 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 no.
What did I
Like,
just hear? I just heard a song that sounded like where the hell was it from? It was a new band, but they played a song that sounded just like Frank Zappa.
really,
Oh yeah,
I haven't heard that.
no, I'll have to
You listen to Zappa back in the day? See,
I
that's like something special that none of my friends would be like, ugh.
that's for sure. I think Zappa was definitely a thing that hardly anybody listened to. I would not say it was the
You
biggest.
know Tom Walsh. Tom Walsh was the only person that I know listened to Zappa, and I'm like, I think I introduced him to Zappa.
Is that right? Yeah, yeah.
No, but like,
The
absolutely not true. But like, I'm saying it right now. Just
there
to
you go.
piss him off.
But yeah, that was interesting music as far as that goes. And then I think I even liked his kids' music, Dweedle or whatever.
Yeah. Well, Dweezil he was very 80s, and I remember he had like this love song, and like it made me cry. And it was like seventh, eighth grade, but like, what feelings do you have then? If I heard it now, I think it's actually said, I think I feel like I wanna cry. I think if I heard that now, I'd be like, oh, fuck.
There's definitely, there's definitely some music that I would not. Uh, whatever happened to the artist that was the actual artist for Milli Vanilli?
Um, One of them died.
No, I don't mean the guys that were faking it. There was an actual artist, right? Like somebody that.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Like, that was like one of those things. Like, yeah, never going through it.
No. I mean,
Not
me
gonna listen to
neither.
it.
But it's amazing to me that like they faked it, and the guy who actually made the music never got any credit at all.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, what a weird,
it
setup.
is.
I like shit that was fake. The monkeys were.
The monkeys were fake, but they were real too. Like they were real songs. They performed them, but other people wrote it.
Well, the Peter guy was the only actual artist I think on that actually played something before the monkeys.
Yeah, that's
The rest
right.
were all taught to play it or whatever like that. But I used to love that show when I was a kid. Oh my god.
Oh God, that was my favorite show too. Like you just never know. Like we grow up in like this whole thing, and there's a part of me like, yeah, I want to fucking make it, but I don't. Like the '90s taught me like, and just from the local band popularity level, and just walking off stage and fucking have people hound you. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like I blame that for like not remember. Like I used to remember everybody's name, everybody's phone number, and I blame technology too. But like, it's just weird. You get a guy fucking like seriously, a guy from Germany comes up and goes, "You were awesome,"
Right.
and you're like, "What am I supposed to do with that? Thank you."
Yeah. Right. No, that's. Yeah.
That shit fucking happens. It's like, oh.
Right. No, it's amazing stuff. It's amazing to see somebody. I don't know if you knew Angelo Pacini.
No.
He was he was a guy that was super quiet. He was Danny Shanahan's best little buddy, and like when we were in our,
Danny's younger. Danny's younger.
what's that?
He's a Marine. Danny's younger. He's a Marine.
Danny's my age.
Danny Shanahan.
Yep.
All right, I'm thinking of different Danny
No.
Shanahan.
There's another Danny that is
All right.
right, a couple years younger than you, right? So Angelo started singing, and he had like this huge range. Like he could sing so high and everything else. And he was like singing in bands in the bars. He was a complete introvert. This dude wouldn't talk to anyone ever, but then he'd put him on the front of a microphone and he would just wail. And I'm like, what the? I don't know if he had like a little bit of like Asperger's or something like that.
Maybe.
But yeah, but it was amazing to have him, do that kind of stuff. He kind of came out of his shell, which was nice for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Look, I'm telling you firsthand, like I had to have a couple drinks before I talk to you tonight. Because it's one-on-one.
sure.
Me in front of no problem. One-on-one stuff. Because like this is the weird stuff. I have everybody wants to hear me sing. Like, just play the guitar and sing for me. There's 3 of you here. No, because I don't want to feel like I'm an egotistical fucking bastard. Like that's, and somehow in my brain that's where it goes, right? And I hate it. And by the way, I did bring this out because like I don't know if you're gonna ask me to sing or not.
No, hey man, dude, if you want to do that, absolutely, I would totally dig that. But
No,
how do you deal with that though? Like the stage fright thing. So like when you get out there and there's like a couple hundred people in front of you, that doesn't freak you out at all?
no, it's game on. That's like
Wow.
2 people. What the fuck? Because like no one's paying attention to you. I guess. I still don't understand it, but like if I went out on a stage and there's 2 people there, oh god, that's like 5th grade when the girl said I couldn't date this girl, or you like so not date the girl. The popular crowd, like there's this certain thing that happened in my life that yeah, Mokina ladies. Plus, you're on my Facebook too.
Right.
But like someone like got me to say I like some girl, and they all cornered me in 5th fucking grade and said, she's not gonna like you, you're a redheaded stepchild, and like your freckles and blah blah blah. Made me feel like shit. So I still have that shit today. But when I go on stage, it's like, yeah.
Right. No, that's awesome, man. That is awesome. But yeah,
But
hey,
like, I don't want that,
no. Right.
And I'm friends with those people on Facebook now. It's like, it's just we're kids, and what is it? It's just
Yeah,
fucking
the
silly shit.
world's. I mean, everything's all different from. I went to 3 high school reunions, and all 3 of them, somebody there gave their impression of me from high school, and I was like, oh my god, really? That's what you thought of me? Like I talked about it last night. I had people at all 3 ones that said they were afraid of me, and I'm like, I have no idea. I was personable with everybody. I wanted to be the life of the party. I wanted to be the guy cracking the jokes, all that stuff.
I never wanted to piss you off, I'll tell you that.
Well, I think I walked
But you had a mohawk, dude.
right.
You're the only person that had the balls to fucking have a mohawk. And
I think
God
I
bless
walked
you.
around with a scowl on my face most of the time, but I don't think I realized I was doing it. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
But hell, man, if you're willing to play something, play something.
Oh, fuck, really?
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
I don't know if I can play it well. At this point, I'm pretty drunk.
Right.
I'm completely. What should I play? A cover? Original?
Dude, whatever. I mean, if you're whatever you're feeling right now, as far as the whole being drunk part.
Not doing anything at all. We can continue this later. Let's do this another time.
All right. Yeah. How do you figure, man?
So like, no, literally, I'm like, I didn't know. So when I'm do interviews for work,
Yeah.
they give you like a heads up, and I know that you're like just let it flow kind of person.
Yep.
I was this close. I'm like, hey, if you have any idea, like, when you ask me just a couple questions so I know. And I didn't go there because I know who you are. I have watched a couple of your
Right,
so,
right. No, and I just go. I have people
yeah,
that want they want bullet points from me, and I'm like, I said to them, I go, why would I give you bullet points? You can give
yeah.
me bullet points, but I'm just here, trying to figure out what you're going to talk about and stuff like that, and then try and keep the conversation going. Uh, I don't, for me, this is easy, man. I'll be honest. I've had a blast with this conversation. It's been fun.
All right, I'm going to do. I found the pen. Yeah, I don't think you've ever seen this or heard this, but the people that are identified to us, this is like my biggest hit in college, and
Awesome.
I haven't played it in 20 years, maybe 10. By the way, you of all people won't like this song. And I appreciate your music integrity. So now you're gone, still all alone. Couldn't really tell you my emotions so strong. Occasionally I dream if you know me, like on the silver stream, oh the silver stream. Julia, Julia, where have you gone? Julia, where have you gone? Tell you, well, I guess I thought you already knew. Now, tell me, was all these years now between me and you? Julia, where have you gone? Julia, Julia, where have you gone? Oh, yeah. Out of tune a little bit.
Yeah.
I remember all those nights with you. I wish that you and I could be together. Now there's all this distance between me and you. Julia, Julia, where have you gone? Julia, Julia, where have you gone? Julia, Julia, where have you gone? That was awful.
I dug it, man. What you
Horrible.
call it's too bad. Like our setup, the audio, is not great. But yeah, if you could,
You can delete it.
no. If you could send me, you said you're gonna send me your album. Send me that shit, man. I would dig that the most for sure.
Actually, I was gonna send you like the new stuff. That's what everybody that we know like heard.
Yeah, right.
That was the song. I'm happy. I'm so thankful and happy who I grew up with. They came out to our shows and they would sing that song.
Right,
You know?
right. No, that's amazing.
For real. Like,
Now, did you write that then?
yeah,
You yourself, right? Wrote that?
yeah.
So like, what's the inspiration for that?
Oh, there was this. So I was working at Marshall's in Orland Park,
Yeah.
and there was this girl, Shala. Shala and I were best friends, but she was going to move to Baltimore right after because her parents like sold their house or moved to Baltimore. So it's like, can't be girlfriends with her. Like, I can't be like a boyfriend to her. Like, we were like literally the best friends. Like, I can't even tell you how much time we go steak and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I hope she sees this.
Ah,
I will forward it to her. She knows
there
the
you go.
song about it.
Right.
Um, but then like one day she's like, "It's like senior prom. Like, can I ask if your friend will date me and take me
Oh,
out?" I'm like, "Are you fucking serious?" That was my life.
yeah.
And of course,
Oh,
my best friend's like, "I want to fucking like dance." His goal was like, and I get this now, and of course I get it. I want to go out with so many people from different schools on their proms.
right. uh, I remember there.
Sure.
I remember there being songs that came out that, and I don't think she ever watches this, but this girl, Sarah Schranz, when we were in school, oh my God, I was so in love with Sarah. I don't think she ever even knew that. And I dated Sarah twice after high school. And I don't think I ever told her. But during high school, I was so in love with Sarah. And Jefferson Starship had that Sarah song. And oh my God, man, every time that came out, I wanted to cry because I liked that girl so much. I was like, oh my God. Like she was like the perfect girl. Uh, and I just remember hearing that song and like, I think every girl that I dated since then, if there wasn't a song with her name in it, I was like, it's weird that there's no song. Like you have no song.
You're useless. Shaniqua.
Right.
Shaniqua, you suck.
Well, I mean, my name's Bill. I have all kinds of like 50 songs that, the Don't Mess with Bill and uh, what was
I
the,
got a very funny story about my daughter.
there you go.
So we go to Washington Mutual back in the day. And my ex is like pregnant. Black lady behind the counter is like, "You guys have a name?" Yeah. And my ex goes, "The name du jour is Morgan, but maybe it's this, it's maybe it's that." The girl behind the counter goes, "What was that first one we gave? Morgan?" "No, the first one." And my ex couldn't put it together. And I go, "Du jour?" Greatest experience in my life. I hate being racist, but that was funny fucking shit. It's like, I'm gonna name my baby du jour.
So your daughter's name is not
That
DeJour.
that literally
Nice. Nice.
like, fuck, dude, you live life like there's nothing in my life I can be not proud of, right?
Right. Well, that's one of my favorite Key and Peele bits with that. You ever see that Aaron?
Yes.
Fucking awesome.
Hey, Ron. Yeah. Everybody I know is Aaron, like, hey, Ron.
Yeah, you done fucked up, Aaron.
Fuck up.
No, that's awesome. I'll tell you what, dude, man. Uh, it's super cool to talk to you. Super cool that you had all those experiences, and I don't know. I hope that I hear more from you as far as the whole, get the guys in the band back together thing. It seems.
Also, like that won't be like that's about the music and like and there is like, dude, there's something like they used to hate me a little bit. Like walk off stage, like there's I don't know. All I can say is like I live a life, and I'm not the most prettiest person in the world. You know, I have an ability to sing, and that, you know, I can't not, you know, I was
Well,
able
it's
to do it.
amazing, dude. Dude, it's amazing. And
I was like Brad Pitt for a little bit, you know, for
I
whatever.
don't know. Like I strongly subscribe to the theory that good-looking people don't have any soul because they don't. If you've never had to deal with like rejection like that and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, there's something to be said for that. There's something to be said for artists like Janis Joplin, who was not a good-looking woman,
yeah,
could wail. I mean, like the Mama Cass and stuff like that. Like those are not people that you would find attractive in this, classic sense of the word. But I don't know, man.
but look, like it's not about attractiveness at this point. Like, you know, I've been there, done that, and like whatever I do, you know, I know I have a good voice. Everybody's like, "Why don't you do American Idol? Why don't you do this?" Do you know how many freaking times I go and compete for like a? Actually, I haven't done this in a long time, but like, I'll go and freaking like do a karaoke competition. That's easy
Nice.
money for me. It's
Yeah.
like,
So, okay,
like
now you said your daughter's got a really good voice. Um, I remember growing up with a couple of like girls that went to singing lessons, and boy, it made a big difference. They really knew how to like sing from their diaphragm to put some power behind it and stuff like that.
yeah.
Does your daughter take lessons and stuff? Is she like
Great question, by the way. Great question. No, because she doesn't want to. Like, she's amazing. Like, like I don't want to be that person. But like, I sit there. I'm like, push it, push it, push it, and like, I'm trying to teach her. And like, I don't know if this is right, man. Like, I don't want to be the fucking focal point ever, right? You know, and I understand that I am,
sure?
but like, I'm just a normal dude, like hanging out with you, hanging out with anybody.
Right, right.
And I don't want my daughter to be the focal point either. And she doesn't. I know her enough that she doesn't want to be the focal point. But she has something, and if she chooses to want to do it, then I will teach her how to do it.
Yeah, right, 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 right. Because I mean,
And
besides having talent, there's a skill to the whole singing thing. As far as like, I've seen people that took lessons, and you could tell the difference from before the lessons to after the lessons. Like they
yeah,
really, um, like the sport that my boys are in. A lot of it could be taught, a lot of it's work, but there's guys that step on the mat that are just talented from the
yeah,
word go. And then when they put the work in, it's magic. As far
yeah.
as it goes.
So my daughter actually has this gift, and she doesn't know the gift. It like, to me, it's like oh God, what's that show with the most racist man in history?
No, I don't know.
I only know the
No.
Rob Reiner was the son, but he was like also the producer of the show.
Oh my God! All the
What
family,
is it?
all the family.
Ellen Family.
Right.
So Kyla has a soulfulness of that woman singing now, which is the only reason she's singing it. 'Cause she has a soulfulness,
Wow.
and like there's something cool about it. But at the same time, like I'm never gonna push her. I'm. I wish we can like listen to like songs because like I just literally wrote a song for her. But
There you go. Hey, if you're ever in the Chicagoland area, I mean, I definitely want to sit down with you and
no, of
talk
course,
with you.
buddy.
That would be great.
Yeah,
I don't like. I'm okay with this. This has been, like it's fun to. I wouldn't have that much chance to talk to you anyway because you're so far away. But I like a in person conversation.
no, I would have been more in person with the guitar playing and all that bullshit earlier too. So yeah,
Right, 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 right.
I
And
get it.
my studio is way better than the way that we're set up now. Like this is not as good. I mean, the quality would be way better.
All right, can I? I want to talk to you outside of this
Sure.
or something.
Yep.
So you
let's,
say it's off and then we
yeah,
talk.
let's wrap up. Here, there we go.